Hey guys, tonight we're stepping into a kitchen where breakfast isn't a bowl of cereal. It's a feast that would make your grandmother weep with joy. Where a 9-year-old boy sits waiting, stomach growling, while his mother slices bread thick as your fist and his father carves into chicken pie at 7 in the morning. Drop your city and local time in the comments. I want to know where you're watching from while I tell you about a boy who ate 4 helpings of fried apples and onions and still had room for pie. Now settle in, get comfortable, because you're about to meet Almanzo Wilder, and his childhood in 1860s New York was nothing like Laura's prairie life. This wasn't survival, this was abundance, this was prosperity, this was the other side of the American dream. You wake up in Burke, New York, February 13th, 1866. You're 9 years old today. Your name is Almanzo Wilder, and you just opened your eyes in a house that's warm. Actually warm. Not prairie shack warm where you can see your breath. Real warmth radiating from a cast iron stove downstairs that's been burning all night. Your pillow isn't a rock, it's goose down. Your blanket isn't a dead squirrel. It's wool, woven by your mother's hands from sheep your father raised. And breakfast isn't trying to eat you. It's waiting downstairs, and it smells like heaven. Listen to the sounds. Your father's boots on the wooden floor, your mother moving pots on the stove, the sizzle of something frying, the clink of dishes being set. Your older brother Royal is already up. You can hear him in the barn feeding horses. Your sisters Eliza, Jane, and Alice are moving around upstairs getting dressed. You're the youngest. Well, not anymore. Your baby brother Pearlie won't be born for another 3 years, but right now, you're the baby of the family. Which means you're last to be served at meals, which means you wait, while your stomach twists, while the smell of food makes you dizzy with hunger, while everyone else gets their portions first. Here's what you need to understand about the Wilder farm. Your family owns 120 acres valued at $4,000. That's wealthy, not rich, not New York City banker rich, but comfortable, prosperous, secure, the kind of wealth that means you eat. Every day, multiple times, real food. Your father James bought this land in 1840 for $342. By 1870 he'll sell it for $5,000. That's 1,400% return on investment. Your father understands money, understands land, understands how to build something that lasts. But right now, you don't care about investments. You care about breakfast. You can smell it. Oatmeal with thick cream and maple sugar, fried potatoes, golden buckwheat cakes, sausages, gravy, preserves and jams, donuts, and best of all, spicy apple pie with thick rich juice and crumbly crust. You dress quickly. Wool pants, flannel shirt, suspenders, boots. Everything handmade, everything practical, nothing wasted. That's the Wilder way. Practical, efficient, purposeful. Your bedroom is cold. Only the kitchen and parlour stay warm overnight. Your breath makes clouds. Your fingers are stiff. But you're used to this. This is February in upstate New York. This is normal. This is life 5 miles from the Canadian border where winter means business. You head downstairs. The warmth hits you like a hug. The kitchen is the heart of the house. Big cast iron stove, long wooden table, benches on both sides. Your mother Angeline standing at the stove, efficient and calm. Your father sitting at the head of the table, waiting. Royal coming in from morning chores, stamping snow off his boots. Eliza Jane and Alice are already seated. Eliza Jane gives you that look. The one that says she's older and knows better and you'd better behave. She's 16 and bossy and you privately think she's the most annoying person in the world. Alice is gentler, 13, and kind. She sometimes sneaks you extra food when mother isn't looking. You sit down. Wait. Your stomach is eating itself. The smells are torture. Beautiful, wonderful torture. Father says grace. Thanks God for the food, for the farm, for the family, for health and strength. His voice is deep and calm, steady. That's your father, steady as the land itself. Then the serving begins, father first. Mother loads his plate, then Royal, then Eliza Jane, then Alice, then finally, You. Mother slices hot bread, rye and Indian bread still steaming. Father scoops oatmeal, pours cream over it, adds maple sugar from your own trees, adds fried potatoes, adds sausages swimming in gravy, adds a piece of pie because why not start the day with dessert? Your plate arrives, heavy, loaded, perfect. You eat silently. That's the rule. Children don't chatter at meals. You eat. You're grateful. You enjoy. But you don't waste time talking when there's food to consume. The oatmeal is sweet and creamy. The potatoes are crispy and salty. The sausages are spiced just right. The bread is warm and soft with cold butter melting into it. The pie is everything good in the world concentrated into one perfect slice. You eat it all, every bite, every crumb, and you're still hungry. Because you're 9 years old and growing and about to spend 12 hours doing farm work that burns calories like a furnace burns wood. This is breakfast. Just breakfast. Dinner at noon will be twice this size. Supper will be lighter but still substantial. 3 meals a day, every day. More food than most families see in a week. That's the Wilder farm. That's your childhood. That's the abundance Laura Ingalls Wilder will marvel at decades later when she writes your story. But it's not free. Nothing is free. This food comes from work. Endless work. Your father's work, your mother's work, Royal's work, your work. Everyone works. Everyone contributes. Everyone earns their place at this table. And today, after breakfast, you'll go to school. 1 mile walk through snow. 1-room building with kids of all ages. A teacher who might or might not survive the day because older boys sometimes terrorize teachers for fun. Welcome to 1866. Welcome to Burke, New York. Welcome to Almanzo Wilder's 9th birthday. You're not starving on the prairie. You're feasting in the North Country. And somehow, this story matters just as much. You're standing in the barn. Morning chores finished. School delayed because father needs help with something. You don't mind. School is boring anyway. 1 room, 1 teacher. Kids from age 5 to 16 all crammed together. The big kids barely fit in their seats. The little kids can't reach the desks. Everyone learns at different paces and the teacher tries to manage chaos. But the barn makes sense. Horses in their stalls, cows waiting to be milked, hay stacked high, tools organized, everything in its place. This is where you belong. Not sitting on a hard bench conjugating verbs. Here, with animals and work and purpose, your father is examining a Morgan horse, beautiful brown animal with intelligent eyes. Prince. No, wait, you don't own Prince yet, that's later, that's your future. Right now, this is one of father's Morgans. The family has always raised them, since your grandfather's time, since the 1830s. Here's what you need to know about Morgan horses. They're America's first horse breed. Started with a schoolteacher named Justin Morgan, and a small bay stallion named Figure in 1789. That horse became the foundation for an entire breed. Compact, powerful, built for endurance, 15 hands high, not fancy, not flashy, but unbreakable. Thick necks, muscled shoulders, deep chests for lung capacity, strong legs, hard hooves. They can work all day, every day, and keep going when bigger horses quit. They're gentle, intelligent, willing. They bond with handlers. They're steady, reliable. The kind of horse you trust with your life. Your family breeds them, has bred them for decades. Your father knows bloodlines, knows conformation, knows which stallion to breed to which mare to produce offspring that will be strong and fast and dependable. This isn't just farming. This is art. This is legacy. This is the Wilder family contributing to American history one foal at a time. Father runs his hand along the horse's leg, checking for soundness, for injury, for any sign of weakness. He's meticulous, careful. Nothing escapes his notice. That's why his farm succeeds when others fail. That's why his horses sell for good money. That's why the family eats 3 meals a day while some neighbours struggle. Almanzo, father says. His voice is quiet, always quiet. Never raises it, never needs to. When father speaks, everyone listens. What do you see? You look at the horse. Try to see what father sees. The stance, the muscle, the way weight is distributed, the shine of the coat indicating health, the brightness of the eye indicating temperament. He's sound, you say finally. Strong, good breeding. Father almost smiles. Almost. And? You look again, and then you see it. A slight favouring of the left front leg. Barely noticeable, but there. He's favouring his left front. Not much, but some. Now father does smile. Small. Approving. Good. You're learning. Never buy a horse without checking every leg, every joint, every hoof. A horse is only as good as his soundest leg. This is how father teaches. Not with lectures, with questions, with observation, with real work and real consequences. You learn by doing, by seeing, by making mistakes and correcting them. It's the frontier education system. Practical, effective, harsh, but fair. Your mother Angeline is different. She teaches differently, more verbal, more explicit. She runs the house with the efficiency of a general commanding an army. Butter making, bread baking, clothes mending, food preserving. Every task has a schedule. Every schedule is followed. Deviation is not tolerated. She makes butter that sells in Malone for top dollar. Substantial income. Enough to buy flour and sugar and coffee and the few things the farm doesn't produce. Your mother's butter business is as important to family finances as your father's crop sales. She's not just a housewife. She's an economic partner, an equal contributor, a businesswoman in an era when that word doesn't officially exist yet. She's also strict, firm, fair, but demanding. The Lord helps them that help themselves, she says constantly. It's her philosophy, her religion, her explanation for everything. Work hard. God rewards hard work. Sit idle. God withdraws his favour. Simple, clear, brutal in its honesty. Your siblings are a mixed blessing. Royal is 6 years older, strong, capable. Father's right hand. He does adult-level farm work already. Ploughing, planting, harvesting, everything. He's also bossy toward you, constantly telling you what to do, how to do it, correcting your mistakes. Sometimes you want to punch him, but he's bigger, stronger. So you just simmer with resentment and wait for the day you'll be strong enough to tell him where to stick his corrections. Eliza Jane is 7 years older. Bossy doesn't begin to cover it. She's imperious, commanding, absolutely certain she knows best about everything. She's smart, will become a teacher, but right now she's just annoying, always criticizing, always correcting, always acting superior. Laura Ingalls will hate her when Eliza Jane teaches her school years from now. You don't blame Laura. You kind of hate her too. Just a little, in a family way. Alice is 4 years older. She's kind, gentle. Sometimes slips you extra food when mother isn't looking. Defends you when Eliza Jane gets too bossy. She's the buffer, the peacemaker. The one who makes family life bearable when Royal and Eliza Jane are ganging up on you for being the youngest and therefore the most ignorant. This is your empire. 120 acres, productive land, good buildings, strong family, valuable livestock, substantial income. Your father built this, turned $342 into $4,000 in value. That's success. That's the American dream manifesting in Franklin County, New York. But here's what the book won't fully explain. This is 1866. 1 year after the Civil War ended, the country is still reeling, recovering, rebuilding, but you'd never know it here. The war happened somewhere else, to someone else. Here, life continues. Farming continues, prosperity continues, like the war was a distant thunderstorm that never quite reached your town. The soldiers are home now, the ones who survived, some with missing limbs, some with missing minds. They don't talk about it much. Just get back to work, back to farming, back to trying to rebuild lives interrupted by 4 years of hell. But you're 9. You don't understand. Don't know what they survived. Don't know what survival cost them. You just know breakfast was good. School is boring. The barn is interesting. And somewhere out there is a life waiting for you. A future. A purpose. a reason you're learning to judge horses and plant crops and work dawn to dusk without complaining. Father is watching you, measuring you, judging whether you have what it takes, whether you'll be a farmer like him, or whether you'll be drawn to town life, to easier work, to softer living. He's testing, always testing. Every moment is a lesson. Every task is an evaluation. Go to school, Father says finally. Learning matters, even if it's boring. You nod, pull on your coat, head out into February cold, 1 mile to walk, through snow, uphill. Both ways it will seem like later when you're old and telling stories, but right now it's just 1 mile, just school, just another day in a childhood that will someday become a book, will become famous, will teach generations what life was like when America was still being built. But you don't know that yet. You're just Almanzo, 9 years old, hungry, always hungry, walking to school through snow, thinking about dinner. Hoping Mother makes fried apples and onions, your favourite, the dish you'll crave for the rest of your life, the taste of childhood, the taste of home, the taste of a New York farm that somehow survived everything and raised boys who would ride into blizzards decades later to save starving towns. That's coming. That's your future. But right now, you're just walking to school, just being 9, just living a childhood that will matter more than you can possibly imagine. You're standing outside the Skeelsborough School, 1-room building, rough wooden walls, small windows, smoke coming from the chimney. Inside, chaos. Controlled chaos if the teacher is good. Absolute chaos if the teacher is weak. The book calls it Hard Scrabble Hill School, but that's fiction. The real name is Skeelsborough. You walk here, 1 mile exactly, every school day. Unless farm work is more urgent, then school waits, because crops don't care about education. Livestock don't care about reading. Survival comes first. Learning comes second. Here's what you need to understand about one-room schoolhouses in 1866. They're battlegrounds. Not metaphorically, literally. Older boys sometimes attack teachers, physically attack them. Testing, challenging, asserting dominance like young rams butting heads. It's brutal. It's primitive. It's normal. This year's teacher is Mr. Coarse, new, young, inexperienced. The older boys are watching him, waiting, judging, planning. You can feel the tension, smell it. Violence waiting to happen. Question is when, not if. You're 9. Small, smart but not big. You stay out of it. Keep your head down. Do your work. Don't attract attention. That's survival strategy. That's how you navigate school without getting crushed by boys twice your size who think education is something to resist rather than embrace. The room is cold despite the stove. Drafts everywhere. Your feet are ice blocks. Your fingers are stiff. Writing is painful, but you write anyway. Copy letters. Practice words. Learn arithmetic. It's boring. Slow. Repetitive. But Father says education matters, so you endure. The younger children are up front. Primers open, learning alphabet, sounding out words. The teacher works with them first, then the middle children, grammar, history, geography, then the older students, advanced arithmetic, literature, science. He rotates, gives everyone some attention, tries to manage 30 students across 8 grade levels in one room with one set of materials. It shouldn't work, but somehow it does. Mostly. The older kids help the younger kids. The smart kids help the struggling kids. It's communal education. Everyone teaching everyone. The teacher is more facilitator than lecturer, more manager than instructor, keeping order, preventing violence, making sure minimal learning happens. And then it happens. The thing everyone was waiting for. The challenge. The test. The moment when Mr. Coarse either establishes authority or loses control forever. 3 older boys stand up, big boys, 15, 16 years old, farm-strong, mean-looking. They've been whispering, planning. Now they're moving, walking toward the front, toward the teacher. The room goes silent. Everyone watches. Even the little kids know something bad is about to happen. This is theatre. This is spectacle. This is the law of the frontier. Strength matters. Authority must be earned. No one respects weakness. Mr. Corse sees them coming. You watch his face. He's scared. You can tell, but he's also determined. He doesn't back down, doesn't run, stands his ground, waits. The biggest boy speaks. You can't hear what he says. But you see Mr. Corse's response. He shakes his head. Firm, clear. No. The boy moves forward. Aggressive, threatening. Mr. Corse doesn't move, just stands there, waiting. And then fast, so fast Mr. Corse moves, grabs the boy's arm, twists, forces him down. Not gently, hard, painful. A move that says, I know how to fight. I'm stronger than you think. Try me again and it gets worse. The other two boys freeze, reassessing, calculating. Mr. Corse holds the first boy down for a long moment, long enough to make the point, long enough to establish dominance, then lets him up. Steps back, says something quiet, something you can't hear. The boys return to their seats, subdued, respectful. Mr. Corse has passed the test. He'll survive the year. Might even become a good teacher now that everyone knows he won't tolerate rebellion. The frontier respects strength, respects people who fight back. Weakness gets you destroyed. Strength gets you respect. Your father won't intervene. Ever. You know this. Because later, when you tell him about it, he'll say, a teacher must handle his own school. If he can't manage boys, he shouldn't be teaching. Brutal philosophy, but honest. That's frontier thinking. Survive or fail. No one rescues you. No one intervenes. You handle your own problems, or you don't survive. The rest of the day is quieter, calmer. Everyone knows the rules now. Everyone understands the hierarchy. Mr. says, Course, teaches, students learn. Order is maintained. It's not gentle education, not nurturing, but it's effective. Hard kids need hard teachers. Soft teachers get eaten alive. You work on arithmetic. Numbers make sense. Clear, logical, unchanging. 2 plus 2 always equals 4. No ambiguity, no interpretation, just truth. You like that. Like the certainty, the order, the predictability. Reading is harder. Words are slippery. Meanings change. Context matters. You prefer numbers, but you read anyway. Because father says education matters. Because someday you might need to read contracts, legal documents, business correspondence. Literacy is survival. Ignorance is dangerous. The school day ends at 4. You pull on your coat, head out into February afternoon. The temperature has dropped. The wind has picked up. 1 mile home. Through deepening snow, past frozen fields, past bare trees, past farmhouses with smoke rising from chimneys, where families are gathering for supper. You walk fast, partly because it's cold, partly because you're hungry, always hungry. Dinner at noon was hours ago. Your stomach is demanding attention, complaining, insisting. You think about supper, wonder what mother's making, hope there's pie. There's always pie. Apple pie, pumpkin pie, berry pie. The Wilder family consumes pies like some families consume bread, constantly, enthusiastically, unapologetically. Home appears. 2-story farmhouse, big red barn, outbuildings, smoke from chimney, warm yellow light in windows, safety, comfort, food. You walk faster. Your feet are numb, your face is ice, but you're almost there. Almost warm, almost fed. Royal is in the barn. Evening chores, milking cows, feeding horses, gathering eggs. You join him. That's the rule. School doesn't exempt you from chores. School is extra. Work is essential. You work until chores are done. Then you eat. Then maybe, if there's time and light, you do homework. But work comes first. Always first. Forever first. This is education in 1866. Split between schoolhouse and barn. Between books and livestock. Between theory and practice. You're learning 2 curricula simultaneously. The official one with reading and arithmetic, and the unofficial one with farming and survival. Both matter. Both are essential. Both are shaping who you'll become. Someday, decades from now, Laura will write this. We'll preserve it. We'll turn your childhood into a book called Farmer Boy. And readers will marvel at the food. Will envy the abundance. Will wish they could eat like Almanzo Wilder ate. But they'll miss the work. Miss the cold. Miss the brutal education system. Miss the violence simmering beneath small-town life. Miss the reality that abundance comes from endless labour and nothing is ever free. But that's coming. That's the future. Right now you're just walking home from school, just doing evening chores, just waiting for supper, just being 9 years old in 1866 New York, just living a childhood that will somehow matter enough to preserve, to share, to turn into history. You don't know that yet. You're just hungry. Always hungry. Hoping mother made fried apples and onions. Hoping there's pie. Hoping tomorrow father lets you skip school to help with something actually important. Hoping your life amounts to something more than arithmetic and cold classrooms and walking through snow. It will. Your life will matter more than you can imagine. But right now, you don't know that. You're just Almanzo. Just 9. Just freezing. Just hungry. Just home. You're standing in the barn. Spring 1866. The snow is melting. Mud everywhere. The world is transitioning from white to brown to green. From frozen to thawed to alive. This is the season of beginnings, of new growth, of young animals learning their purpose. Father hands you 2 ropes. At the end of each rope, a calf. Star and bright. Your calves. Given to you last fall. Red calves with white stars on their foreheads. Beautiful. Spirited. Completely untrained. They're yours to break, Father says. His voice is calm, matter-of-fact. Like he's telling you to fetch water. Not assigning you a task that could crush you to death if you mess up. You'll need them ready to haul wood by next winter. You nod. Try to look confident. Inside, your stomach flips. These calves are big. Not full-grown oxen big, but bigger than you, stronger than you, and they have no interest in being trained. They want to run, to play, to do anything except stand still and learn commands. This is your test, your opportunity to prove you're capable, responsible, ready for bigger tasks, ready eventually for your own Colt, that beautiful Morgan Colt you dream about every night, the one Father says you can have when you prove you can handle responsibility. So you take the ropes, feel their weight, feel the calves pulling against them, testing, always testing. Animals know weakness, smell fear, you can't show either. Royal is watching, 16 years old, strong as a man. He's already broken multiple teams, already handles adult farm work. He doesn't say anything, just watches, judging, waiting to see if his baby brother can do this. You lead Star and Bright to the training yard. Try to make them walk straight. They don't. They wander, pull sideways, stop to sniff things. One nearly steps on your foot. The other wraps her rope around a fence post. You untangle them. Start again. This is going to be harder than you thought. The training process is simple in theory, impossible in practice. You need to teach them voice commands. G for right, haw for left, whoa for stop, get up for go, simple words, basic directions. But the calves don't speak English, don't care about your words. Don't understand why they should obey a small human when they're perfectly happy being independent cattle. You spend hours, days, weeks, leading them around, saying commands, pulling ropes, trying to make them understand. They resist constantly. Star tries to run. Bright stands still and refuses to move. They tangle the ropes. They ignore you. They make you want to scream. Royal rides past one afternoon. You're stuck in a ditch. Both calves have pulled opposite directions and you've fallen. Mud everywhere. Ropes twisted. Complete disaster. You look up at Royal. Wait for help. Wait for him to dismount and fix this mess. He doesn't. Just looks down at you. Figure it out, he says, then rides away. You want to cry. Want to quit. Want to tell Father this is impossible and you need help. But you don't, because that's not how things work. You were given this job. You finish it. No matter how hard. No matter how long it takes. That's what Father taught you. That's what being a Wilder means. So you get up. Wipe mud off your face, untangle the ropes, start again. And slowly, painfully, through endless repetition and stubborn determination, the calves begin to understand, begin to respond, begin to turn when you say gee, begin to stop when you say whoa. It's not perfect, they're not reliable, but it's progress, real, measurable progress. And that matters more than anything. By summer you can drive them around the yard, by fall they're pulling a small cart, by winter they're ready for real work, hauling wood, the job father assigned, the test he set, you passed. Father examines them one December morning, watches you command them, watches them respond. His face doesn't change, doesn't smile, doesn't praise, just nods. Once. Good, he says, that's all, one word. But it means everything. It means you proved yourself. It means you're capable. It means maybe, someday, you'll be ready for that colt. Training animals teaches you things school never could. Patience, persistence, problem-solving, authority, confidence, respect. You learn that strength isn't enough. You need intelligence, strategy, understanding. You need to outthink the animal, anticipate, adapt, work with their nature, not against it. You learn that failure is part of learning, that falling in ditches doesn't mean you're incompetent. It means you're trying something hard, something worth doing, and the only real failure is quitting. You learn that animals respond to consistency, to calm authority, to patient repetition. That yelling doesn't work, hitting doesn't work, fear doesn't create obedience, it creates rebellion. But steady, firm, fair handling creates trust, creates willingness, creates a working partnership that benefits everyone. These lessons will serve you for life, will help you survive blizzards in Dakota Territory, will help you train horses, will help you build a farm in Missouri, will help you navigate a marriage that spans decades, will help you raise a daughter who becomes a famous writer. But right now you don't know that. You're just a boy, training calves, trying to prove yourself, trying to earn the respect of a father who never gives praise lightly, trying to become the man you're supposed to be. This is frontier education, not reading, not arithmetic. This, real skills, real consequences, real growth. You either learn or you fail. There's no middle ground, no participation trophies, no gentle encouragement, just results. Either you can do the job or you can't. Either the calves obey or they don't. Either you're capable or you're not. It's harsh, brutal even, but it works. It produces men who can survive anything, who can face starvation and blizzards and crop failures and keep going, who don't quit, don't give up, don't expect rescue, who handle their own problems and take responsibility for their own lives. That's what Star and Bright taught you. Not just how to drive oxen, how to be a man, how to face impossible tasks and figure them out, how to fail and try again, how to persist when everything in you wants to quit, how to earn respect through demonstrated capability rather than demanding it based on position. Winter comes. You drive Star and Bright into the woods. They pull the sled loaded with logs, heavy logs, the kind that would break a person's back. The calves pull them easily, responding to your commands, turning when you say gee, stopping when you say whoa, working as a team because you taught them how. Father is in the woods cutting. He sees you drive the team, sees them obey, sees the confidence in your handling. He doesn't say anything. But that night at dinner, he mentions that maybe next year you'll be ready for something more. Maybe a young horse to train. Maybe. Your heart leaps. This is it. This is the beginning. The path toward your own Morgan Colt. Toward the dream that keeps you going through boring school days and cold mornings and endless chores. The dream of having your own horse, fast and beautiful and yours. Earned through work and patience and proving yourself worthy. That's the Wilder way. Nothing is given, everything is earned. And the earning makes it mean something, makes it valuable, makes it yours in a way that gifts never could be. You're learning, growing, becoming. and Star and Bright are teaching you lessons more valuable than any schoolbook ever could. You're standing in the pumpkin patch. Late summer. The vines are thick and green. The pumpkins are orange globes scattered across the field. But you only care about one. Your pumpkin. The giant one you've been cultivating all season. Back in spring, Mother gave you a pumpkin seed. Just one. Plant it where it gets sun and water, she said. Take care of it. See what happens. You planted it carefully, in the best spot, where the soil was richest, where water collected but didn't flood, where sun hit morning to evening. Then you waited, watched, tended, pulled every weed, watered during dry spells, protected it from animals, talked to it. Though you'd never admit that to Royal, the plant grew, fast, thick vines spreading everywhere, yellow flowers turning into small green pumpkins. Most plants produce several pumpkins. Yours produced one massive, perfect, incredible pumpkin. Father noticed. You planning to enter that at the county fair, he asked. You nodded. Couldn't speak. Too excited. Too nervous. The county fair was the biggest event of the year. Farmers from all over Franklin County bringing their best. Competing. Showing off. Proving who had the finest livestock, the best crops, the most skill. Better keep tending it then, Father said. Competition's fierce. So you did. Every day. Checking for pests. Adjusting the vine so the pumpkin got maximum sun. Making sure it had everything it needed to grow as large as possible. This wasn't just a pumpkin. This was your pride, your achievement, your chance to prove yourself in front of the whole county. Fair day arrives. September. The air is crisp. Leaves are starting to turn. The whole family loads into the wagon. You're in back with your pumpkin. It's so heavy Father and Royal had to help you lift it. So perfectly round and orange it looks unreal. You're terrified it'll roll off, break, ruin everything. But it doesn't. It arrives safe. The fairground is chaos. Beautiful chaos. Hundreds of people, booths everywhere. Livestock pens full of cattle and pigs and sheep, horses being shown. Vegetables and fruits displayed on tables, preserved foods in jars, quilts hanging, woodwork, metalwork, everything anyone in the county made or grew or raised. You carry your pumpkin to the vegetable tent. Other boys are there with their entries. Some have nice pumpkins, big ones, orange ones, good ones. But when you set yours down, people stop, stare, whisper. Because your pumpkin isn't just good. It's extraordinary, massive, perfect, a work of agricultural art. The judging takes hours. You wander the fair with Royal, see everything. The horse races are incredible. Morgan horses showing their speed and endurance. Father is watching closely, evaluating bloodlines, judging conformation. This is business for him as much as entertainment. He breeds Morgans, needs to know what traits are winning, what buyers want, what will sell. There's a runner, an Indian man. People say he can run a mile in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Impossible. But he races anyway, and he's fast. So fast it seems superhuman. You watch in awe. Wonder what it would be like to be that fast. To fly across ground like wind-made flesh. Food everywhere. Vendors selling everything. Candy, cakes, pies. Things you don't normally get. Store-bought treats. Sugar confections. Temptations designed to empty pockets. You have a little money. Could buy candy. Could buy anything. But you remember Father's lessons about money. About spending versus investing. About immediate pleasure versus long-term gain. The announcements come. Awards for each category. You're not nervous. You are. Your stomach is twisted. Your hands are sweating. This matters. More than it should. But it does. Pumpkins, the judge calls. Third place, not you. Second place, not you. First place, blue ribbon. Almanzo Wilder. Your name, your pumpkin, your work. You walk forward, heart pounding, face hot. The judge pins the blue ribbon to your shirt, hands you a certificate. Everyone claps. Your family is beaming. Royal actually looks proud. Father nods that single nod that means more than 1,000 words from other men. You won. You competed against grown men and experienced farmers, and you won at 9 years old because you worked hard, paid attention, cared for that plant like it was the most important thing in the world, and it paid off. Father gives you a silver dollar, heavy, real, valuable. You earned this, he says. It's yours to spend however you want. A silver dollar. You could buy anything. Candy enough to last months, a toy, a book, anything. You wander the fair, clutching the coin, thinking, deciding. This is a test. Father is teaching you something, watching what you choose, money management, values, character. This isn't just about spending, it's about who you are and who you're becoming. You see a man selling piglets, small, pink, cute. One catches your eye, a little female, bright eyes, healthy, strong. She costs a silver dollar. You make your decision. Buy the pig. Name her Lucy. Carry her home in a crate in the wagon. Royal laughs at you. You bought a pig? You could have had Candy. I can raise her, you explain. She'll have piglets. I can sell them. Make more money. Father doesn't say anything, but you see him smile. Small, brief, but there. You passed the test. Chose investment over consumption. Delayed gratification. Thought about the future. That's what he wanted to see. That's what he was teaching. And you learned. The fair represents everything good about farming communities. Competition that builds skill, social connection, pride in work, celebration of achievement, young people learning values, families spending time together, the entire county gathering to share, to compete, to celebrate the harvest season. But it's also a snapshot of a world that's changing. The store-bought goods are increasing, the manufactured items, the things from far away. The temptations of urban life are creeping in even here. Town is growing, offering opportunities that don't require mud and manure and 12-hour days. The next generation is watching, wondering, deciding between tradition and progress. Your cousins from town are at the fair, wearing store-bought clothes, hair slicked, clean, soft-looking. They have money to spend on candy. Their parents just give it to them. No work required. They laugh at your homemade clothes, your farm smell, your calloused hands. They think they're better, more modern, more sophisticated. But when the awards are announced, none of them win anything. They didn't enter, didn't compete, didn't make anything worth showing. They just came to spend money and show off, while you're wearing a blue ribbon and carrying a piglet that represents a business investment. Who's really ahead? Who's learning valuable skills? Who's building a future? The soft town boys with their candy and fancy clothes? Or the farm boy with dirt under his fingernails and a ribbon on his chest and a pig in a crate? The answer seems obvious to you. But the world is changing, and maybe the answer isn't as clear as it once was. Maybe there's value in both worlds. Maybe the future belongs to people who can bridge both, who can work with their hands but also navigate town life, who understand farming but also business, who respect tradition but embrace progress. You don't know yet. You're just 9, just enjoying your victory, just proud of your pumpkin and your pig and your blue ribbon, just happy, just satisfied, just content in a way that's rare and precious and fleeting. This is childhood at its best, working toward a goal, achieving it, being recognized, earning something real, feeling the satisfaction of effort rewarded. These moments shape you, build confidence, create memories that last a lifetime, teach lessons that guide decisions decades later. The sun sets. The fair empties. Families load into wagons, heading home, tired but happy, full of food and memories and stories to tell. The horses know the way home. They always do. The roads are dark but familiar, safe. This is your world, your community, your place. You fall asleep in the wagon, blue ribbon still pinned to your shirt. Lucy the pig sleeping in her crate beside you. The silver dollar spent but invested. The pumpkin left behind, raffled off probably, but its purpose fulfilled. It brought you this moment, this victory, this memory. Tomorrow you'll be back to regular chores, school, routine, but tonight you're a champion. Tonight, you proved yourself. Tonight, you're exactly where you want to be. Heading home after the county fair, blue ribbon winner, future pig farmer, 9-year-old boy living the best day of his childhood. And somewhere in the future, decades away, a woman named Laura will write this down. We'll preserve it. We'll turn your pumpkin and your pig and your pride into a story that millions will read. We'll make your childhood matter to people who never met you. We'll give your life meaning beyond yourself. But you don't know that yet. You're just sleeping, just dreaming, just being 9, just living a childhood that will someday become history. You're standing in the barn. Lucy the pig is in her pen, growing fast, eating everything, producing nothing yet. But someday she'll have piglets. Someday this investment will pay off. That's what Father taught you. That's what the silver dollar taught you. Patience, planning, investment. But money is complicated. More complicated than a 9-year-old understands. Father knows this. Mother knows this. They're teaching you slowly, carefully, through experience rather than lectures, through choices rather than rules. The Wilder family has money, not wealth, not luxury, but security, stability. The farm is paid for, the buildings are solid, the livestock is valuable, the land produces, they sell crops, mother sells butter, father sells horses, money comes in, money goes out. But there's always enough, always surplus, always something in the bank. That's rare. Many neighbours struggle, many farms barely break even, many families worry constantly about money, about debt, about survival. The Wilders don't, not because they're lucky, because they're careful, frugal, smart. They spend less than they earn, save the difference, invest in improvements, build equity, create security. This is the philosophy they're teaching you, not through words, through demonstration, through involving you in decisions, through giving you your own money and letting you make choices and living with consequences. This silver dollar was your first test. You passed, chose investment over consumption. But there will be more tests, more choices, more opportunities to demonstrate what you've learned or reveal what you haven't. Royal gets paid for certain work. Father gives him wages for adult-level labour, harvest time, major projects. Times when Royal does the work of a hired hand, Father pays him like one. Royal saves most of it, spends some, buys clothes he needs, tools he wants, small luxuries, but mostly saves. He's 18, thinking about his own future, his own farm someday, his own family. Money represents freedom, independence. Opportunity. Eliza Jane saves everything, never spends, hoards coins like a dragon hoards gold. She's planning to be a teacher, needs money for training, for setting up independently, for supporting herself until she finds a position. She's practical, determined, unromantic about money. It's a tool, a means to an end. She'll use it efficiently. Alice is gentler with money, buys small things, gifts for others, ribbons, fabric, things that bring joy. But she's not wasteful, just less obsessed with accumulation, more interested in relationships than resources. She'll marry eventually. Her husband will handle money. That's how things work. So she doesn't stress about it the way Eliza Jane does. You're learning by watching them, seeing different approaches, different values, different priorities. Money reveals character, shows what people value, what they fear, what they want, how they think about the future. The town cousins have different relationships with money. They get it easily, spend it carelessly, don't understand earning, don't appreciate value. Their parents are merchants. Money comes from selling things other people made. It seems easy, abstract, not connected to actual labour, not connected to dirt and sweat and risk. When they visit at Christmas, the contrast is stark. They arrive with store-bought clothes, factory-made toys, purchased gifts, everything new and shiny and expensive. They're proud of it, showing off, acting superior. But your family isn't impressed. Father judges value differently, A good horse is valuable. A solid building is valuable. A productive field is valuable. Fancy clothes that wear out quickly, toys that break. Things that don't produce or serve or last, those aren't valuable. Those are foolish, wasteful, signs of poor judgment. The cousins mock your homemade clothes, your hand-carved toys, your simple gifts. But when you go sledding, their fancy clothes get ruined. Their expensive toys break. Meanwhile, your sturdy homemade everything works perfectly. Lasts. Functions. Proves its value through use. Money can't buy quality. Can't buy skill. Can't buy the kind of knowledge that makes things that last. Your father has that knowledge. Your mother has that knowledge. They're teaching you. Not through money, through work, through craft, through caring about quality. Lucy the pig grows fat. By spring she's mature. By summer she's pregnant. By fall she has piglets. 8 of them, healthy, strong, valuable. You raised them all, fed them, cared for them, kept them alive. Now they're ready to sell. Father takes you to town, to the market, where farmers sell livestock. You lead your piglets in a crate. Other farmers examine them, judge them, make offers. You sell 7, keep 1 female for future breeding. The money you make is substantial, real, earned entirely by you. Father hands you the coins. What will you do with it? He asks. You've learned. Save most, spend a little, invest the rest. He nods, approves. You passed another test. Showed you understood. Showed the lessons took root. Showed you're thinking like a farmer, like a businessman, like someone who understands that money is a tool, not a toy. That evening, Mother makes your favourite dinner. Fried apples and onions, a celebration, recognition, pride. You earned money through your own work and judgment. That matters. That's worth celebrating. That's the kind of achievement that deserves recognition. But they don't make a big fuss. Don't overpraise. Don't inflate your ego. Just acknowledge. Just affirm. Just communicate that you're on the right path. That you're learning what you need to learn. That you're becoming who you need to become. This is the Wilder way. Practical. Measured. Focused on real achievement rather than empty praise. Focused on building character rather than self-esteem. Focused on preparing children for reality rather than protecting them from it. Money represents freedom. Father says this often. A farmer depends on himself, and the land and the weather. If you're a farmer, you raise what you eat, you raise what you wear, and you keep warm with wood out of your own timber. You work hard, but you work as you please, and no man can tell you to go or come. You'll be free and independent, son, on a farm. That's the dream. Independence, self-sufficiency, freedom, not wealth, not luxury. Freedom, the ability to make your own choices, to support yourself, to not be dependent on employers or markets or anyone else's goodwill, to control your own time, your own labour, your own life. Money makes that possible, but only if you're smart about it. Only if you save, invest, build, create systems that generate income. That's what you're learning. That's what Lucy and her piglets taught you. That $1 silver dollar, wisely invested, can multiply, can create ongoing income, can build toward that independence Father talks about. But money can also trap you. Debt is dangerous. Father never borrows. Never. Once you owe money, someone else owns part of your work, he says. They have a claim on your time, your labour, your freedom. Stay out of debt. Live within your means. Build slowly. That's how you stay free. This lesson will serve you well. Later in Dakota, when crop failures and illness devastate your finances, you'll survive because you learned frugality, learned to live lean, learned to work your way out of problems rather than borrowing your way deeper into them. But that's the future. Right now, you're just learning, just making choices, just building habits that will define your life, just becoming the man who will ride into blizzards to save starving towns, the man who will build Rocky Ridge Farm from 40 acres of rocks and determination, the man who will support a wife who writes books that change American literature. You don't know that yet. You're just a boy, with a pig and a blue ribbon and a few coins in your pocket and dreams of a Morgan Colt and a family that's teaching you, one choice at a time, how to become a man worth being. The sun sets, another day done, another lesson learned, another step toward the future. The barn is warm, the animals are fed, the family is together, dinner is waiting, life is good, simple, hard, but good. This is 1866. This is upstate New York. This is the Wilder farm. This is your childhood, and someday someone will write it down, will preserve it, will share it, will turn these ordinary moments into something extraordinary, into history, into literature, into lessons for generations who never knew farms like this existed. But right now, it's just life, just your life, just another day on the farm that will someday become famous. That will someday be a museum. That will someday teach children about a world that no longer exists. You head inside, wash up, sit down for dinner. The family gathers. Father says grace, mother serves, everyone eats. And for this moment, everything is exactly as it should be. You're standing in the wagon, July 4th, 1866. The family's heading to Malone, Independence Day, the biggest celebration besides Christmas. The whole county will be there. Speeches, parades, fireworks, food vendors, games, everything. You're wearing your best clothes. Not Sunday clothes, special occasion clothes. Mother made them. New shirt, clean pants, suspenders. You look respectable, presentable. Like a Wilder should look when representing the family in town. Royal is beside you. He's excited too. Eliza, Jane and Alice are in the back, chattering about what they might see, who they might meet, what dresses other girls will be wearing. Father and mother sit up front. Father driving the Morgan team. Swift horses, beautiful horses, the pride of the Wilder farm. The 5-mile journey takes 30 minutes, fast, comfortable. The Morgans trot smoothly. Their breeding shows, their training shows. You're proud to be in this wagon, behind these horses, part of this family. Malone appears. Buildings everywhere. More than you've seen at once. 3,000 people live here. That's a city. Real civilization. Stores, banks, churches, a newspaper office, machine shops, mills. Everything a town needs to be important, to matter. The streets are packed, wagons lined up, horses tied to every post, people everywhere, farmers in clean work clothes, townfolk in fancy store-bought outfits, children running wild, excited, free. It's chaos, beautiful chaos, the kind that only happens once a year. Father finds a place to park, ties the horses, gives them water, makes sure they're comfortable. Animals come first, always. That's the rule. You take care of what takes care of you. You respect what serves you. The Morgans pulled the wagon. They deserve rest and shade and water. The celebration is centered in the town square. A platform has been built, draped in red, white and blue bunting. American flags everywhere. This is the first Independence Day after the Civil War ended. The first one where the country is whole again. United. The mood is patriotic, emotional, proud. A brass band plays, not perfectly, but enthusiastically. The music is loud, stirring, makes your chest feel tight, makes you stand straighter, makes you understand why Father says freedom matters more than anything. The speeches begin. Men climb onto the platform, important men, mayor, judge, colonel somebody who fought in the war. They talk about sacrifice, about unity, about the Constitution, about what it means to be American, about independence earned through blood and maintained through vigilance. You don't understand all of it. Some words are too big, some concepts too abstract. But you understand the feeling, the pride, the gratitude, the recognition that you live in a country where a farmer's son can own land, can work for himself, can be free and independent. That's not true everywhere. That's not true in most places. That's special. That's worth celebrating. The crowd cheers after each speech. Loud, genuine. These aren't empty words. These are values people live by. Values they fought for. Some men in the crowd are missing arms, missing legs. They fought for this. paid for it, earned the right to celebrate it. After the speeches, the activities begin. Foot races, sack races, three-legged races, pie-eating contests, log-splitting competitions. Everything designed to show off strength and skill and speed. Everyone competing, everyone cheering, everyone participating. Royal enters the log-splitting contest. He's strong, fast, good with an axe. You watch him compete against grown men. He doesn't win, but he does well. Respectably. Father nods approval. That's all Royal needs. That one nod. That acknowledgement that he's becoming a man, that he's capable, that he's earning his place. You're too young to compete in anything serious, but there are games for children. You run races, win some, lose some. It doesn't matter. The fun is in trying, in participating, in being part of something bigger than yourself. The food vendors are incredible. Everything you can imagine. Things you never see at home. Store-bought candy, lemonade, gingerbread, sugar cakes, roasted peanuts. Everything costs money, real money. Father gives you a penny, 1 penny, to spend however you want. This is a test, like the silver dollar. Father is teaching you, watching you, judging your character by your choices. Do you buy the first thing you see? Or do you walk around, compare, think, decide carefully? You walk, look at everything, consider options. The candy is tempting, but temporary, gone in minutes. The gingerbread smells amazing, but you had gingerbread at Christmas. The lemonade is refreshing. But you're not that thirsty. Finally, you see something worth spending on. A small American flag, wood stick, cloth banner, simple, inexpensive, permanent. You buy it, take it back to show Father. He looks at it, looks at you, almost smiles. Good choice, he says. 2 words, but they mean you passed the test. You chose something meaningful over something merely pleasant. You thought about value, about lasting versus temporary, about what matters. The afternoon continues. Music, dancing, more competitions, more food, more celebration. It's overwhelming, wonderful. The kind of day you'll remember forever. The kind of day that defines childhood. That creates the memories you'll carry into old age. As the sun sets, the fireworks begin. Not many, not elaborate, but real. Explosions of light and sound in the darkening sky. Everyone watches. Silent, awed. Even the children stop running, stop shouting, just watch, just marvel, just feel grateful to be alive, to be here, to be American. The fireworks are expensive. Someone paid for them. Someone donated money or materials or labour to make this possible. That's community. That's what towns do. Pool resources, create shared experiences, build memories together. It's not just about individual farms, individual families. It's about being part of something larger, something collective, something that matters beyond yourself. When the fireworks end, everyone applauds, cheers, whistles. Then slowly, families begin loading into wagons, heading home. The horses are tired, the children are exhausted, but everyone is happy, satisfied, content in a deep, fulfilled way. You ride home in the wagon, half asleep, clutching your flag, listening to your parents talk quietly in the front. Royal is silent beside you. Alice and Eliza Jane have stopped chattering. Everyone is processing, absorbing, remembering. This is what patriotism looks like. Not abstract, not theoretical, real, tangible. A community gathering to celebrate freedom, to honour sacrifice, to acknowledge that independence isn't free, isn't automatic, has to be earned, defended, maintained. Someday, decades from now, you'll tell Laura about this, about Independence Day in Malone, about the speeches and the fireworks and the pride, and she'll understand, because she'll have her own memories, her own experiences, her own understanding of what it means to be American, to be free, to live in a country where hard work matters more than birth, where anyone can own land, where independence is possible. Right now, you're just tired, just happy, just clutching your flag and riding home in the dark. The Morgans know the way. They always do. Father lets them set their own pace. Trust them, respects them. That's the Wilder way. Trust what you've trained. Respect what serves you. Work with nature, not against it. Home appears. Warm light in windows, the barn waiting, the animals needing evening care. Even on holidays, chores happen. Livestock don't care about Independence Day. They need food, water, attention. That's responsibility, that's farming, that's life. You help with evening chores, feed the chickens, gather eggs, fill water troughs. Your legs are heavy, your eyes are closing, but you do the work, because that's what Wilders do, because animals depend on you, because responsibility doesn't pause for celebrations. Finally, bed. Your own bed, soft and familiar. You fall asleep immediately, deeply, dreaming of fireworks and flags and speeches about freedom, dreaming of a country where a farmer boy can own land, can work for himself, can be independent, can matter. This is America in 1866, 1 year after war ended, still healing, still rebuilding, but celebrating, remembering, honouring. The speeches talked about sacrifice, about the men who died, about the cost of freedom. You're too young to fully understand, but you feel it, sense it, know it matters. The flag is beside your bed, small, simple, but yours, earned with your penny, chosen carefully, kept forever. Years from now, when you're old and telling stories, you'll remember this day, this celebration, this feeling. And you'll be grateful. Grateful to have been alive. Grateful to have been there. Grateful to be American. You're standing on frozen river. January 1867. The coldest part of winter. When ice is thickest. When the harvest happens. When men risk their lives cutting blocks from water that wants to kill them. Father and Royal are with you. And Mr. Paddock. And other men from nearby farms. Everyone helps with ice harvest. Everyone needs ice for summer, for keeping food cold, for making ice cream, for surviving August heat. So everyone works together. Community effort, shared labour, mutual benefit. The ice is 20 inches thick. Perfect. Thick enough to be safe. Thick enough to stand on. Thick enough to cut without breaking through. But still dangerous. Always dangerous. One mistake. One crack. One slip. And you're in water cold enough to stop your heart in minutes. The process is methodical, careful, practiced. First, they clear the snow. Horse-drawn scrapers push it aside, exposing the blue-grey ice beneath, smooth, clear, beautiful and deadly. Then they mark the grid. Lines scored into ice, marking where to cut. Blocks 2 feet by 3 feet, perfect size for storing, for stacking, for using. The horse-drawn plough cuts grooves along the lines, deep, precise, creating a checkerboard pattern across the frozen river. Now comes the dangerous part, cutting through. Men with long ice saws work in pairs, back and forth. The saw blade cuts through 20 inches of ice, slowly, steadily. Water seeps up through the cut, dark, threatening, reminding everyone what lies beneath. You watch, fascinated, terrified. Father told you to stay back, stay safe, don't get in the way, so you watch from the bank, near the fire they built, where men warm their hands between shifts, where hot coffee and bread wait, where safety exists. But watching isn't enough. You need to help, need to contribute, need to prove you're capable. So you ask Father, "Can I help?" He looks at you, measuring, judging. You're 9. Small but willing, eager. He nods. You can push sawdust into the cracks, but stay away from open water, understand? You nod. Take the bucket of sawdust. Carefully walk onto the ice. Your heart pounds, your legs shake. The ice creaks beneath your feet. It's solid, strong, but it sounds fragile. Sounds like it might break, like you might fall through, like death is one wrong step away. You kneel carefully. Start pushing sawdust into the thin cracks between ice blocks. It's important work. The sawdust insulates, prevents blocks from freezing together. makes them easier to separate, easier to move. You're helping, contributing, doing real work. Royal is working near the open channel, where they're cutting, where blocks float free. He's hooking them, guiding them, using long poles to push ice blocks toward the loading area. It's skilled work, dangerous work, man's work. You want to do that, want to be trusted with that, but you're not ready, not yet. So you push sawdust and wait and learn. The conversation happens while you're working, kneeling on the ice, hands numb despite mittens. Royal says something. You can't hear clearly, but you catch the tone, casual, conversational. "What would you like best to eat?" he asks. The question opens a floodgate. Men start talking. About food. About favourite meals. About what they dream about during long cold work. Spare ribs. Turkey with dressing. Baked beans. Crackling cornbread. Everything delicious. Everything warm. Everything opposite of this frozen hell they're working in. You join in. "Fried apples and onions," you say. "That's what I like most in the world." Royal laughs. "Of course you do. You'd eat them every meal if Mother let you." He's right. You would. That combination of sweet apples and savoury onions, caramelised, rich, perfect. It's comfort food, home food, love food, the taste of childhood, the taste of safety, the taste of everything good. The work continues. Hours. Back-breaking, freezing, dangerous, but necessary. They cut hundreds of blocks, stack them on sledges. Horses haul them to the ice house, where they'll be packed in sawdust, stored, preserved, available all summer for keeping milk cold, for making butter, for creating ice cream on hot afternoons. And then it happens. The thing you'll remember forever. The thing that proves how dangerous this work is. You're pushing sawdust, not paying attention, not watching your feet. And suddenly the ice beneath you cracks, not breaks, but cracks, shifts, and you slip, fall. One leg goes into the channel, into open water, into liquid ice. The shock is total, instant. Your leg goes numb immediately. Pain so intense it doesn't register as pain. Just shock, just terror, just the knowledge that you're dying, that hypothermia is seconds away, that you messed up and now you'll pay for it. Hands grab you. Royal. He's there instantly, pulling you, dragging you, getting you out, away from water, onto solid ice. "Get him to the fire," Father yells. Royal carries you, runs with you. Your leg is ice. Your boot is full of water. You're shaking, crying, terrified. They strip your boot, your sock. Your leg is white, bloodless. They rub it, hard, painful, forcing circulation, forcing warmth. Someone wraps blankets around you, shoves hot coffee into your hands. "Drink," Father orders. His voice is stern, angry, but his hands are gentle, careful. He's scared. You can tell. You almost died. His younger son almost drowned in ice water because he wasn't paying attention. Slowly, feeling returns. Pain. Intense pain. But pain means nerve function, means no permanent damage, means you'll be okay. Father doesn't say anything, just keeps rubbing your leg, keeps forcing warmth back into it, keeps you alive. When you can walk again, Father takes you to the wagon. "You're done," he says. "Go home, get warm, stay warm." You want to argue. Want to prove you're tough, but you can't. You're shaking too hard, scared too badly. So you climb into the wagon, ride home alone, ashamed, embarrassed. You failed. You proved you're not ready, not capable, not careful enough. Mother meets you at the door, takes one look, knows what happened. Small towns, news travels, someone rode ahead. Told her. She has hot water ready, hot food prepared. She strips your clothes, wraps you in quilts, sits you by the stove, doesn't scold, doesn't lecture, just takes care of you. That's Mother. Practical, efficient, loving in action rather than words. That evening, when Father and Royal return, something amazing happens. Dinner is ready, hot, perfect. And there, In the centre of the table is a big dish of fried apples and onions, your favourite. Mother made it special, for you. Because she knew what you needed, knew you needed comfort, needed reassurance, needed love expressed through food. You eat silently, grateful, ashamed, relieved to be alive. The apples are sweet, the onions are savoury. The combination is perfect. It's the taste of home, of safety, of being loved despite failure, despite mistakes, despite proving you're not ready for dangerous work. Father doesn't mention the accident, doesn't scold, doesn't lecture, just says, ice harvest is dangerous. Even grown men die sometimes. You got lucky. Learn from it. That's it. The entire lesson. Brief, blunt, true. You got lucky. You could have died. You will learn from this. You will be more careful, more attentive, more aware. Because the frontier doesn't give second chances. The cold doesn't forgive mistakes. Nature doesn't care about good intentions. This is education through experience, through consequences, through real danger. It's harsh, brutal even, but effective. You will never again work on ice without complete attention. Will never again let your mind wander during dangerous tasks. Will never again forget that one mistake can kill you. But here's the other lesson. Community saves you. Royal pulled you out. Father warmed you up. Mother cared for you. Family protected you. You're not independent. Not self-sufficient, not alone. You're part of something larger, something that catches you when you fall, something that pulls you back from death. That's the paradox. Father preaches independence, self-reliance, freedom. But survival requires community, requires family, requires people who care enough to save you when you mess up. The trick is balancing both. Being capable enough to mostly take care of yourself, but humble enough to accept help when needed, strong enough to work alone, wise enough to know when you can't. You fall asleep that night warm, safe, grateful. Your leg aches, but it works. You're alive. You learned. You survived. Tomorrow you'll do chores, will go to school, will continue the endless cycle of work and learning and growing, but tonight you're just grateful. Just alive, just home. And somewhere in your future, decades away, a woman named Laura will write this down, will preserve it, will turn your near-death experience into a scene in a book, will show readers how dangerous farm life was, how close death always lived, how children worked alongside adults, risked alongside adults, died alongside adults, because that was life, that was normal. That was the price of the independence Father talks about so proudly. But you don't know that yet. You're just warm, just safe, just tasting fried apples and onions, just being 9, just surviving another day on the New York frontier where prosperity doesn't mean safety, where abundance doesn't mean easy, where success is measured by survival as much as by bank accounts. You're standing in the sugar bush, late February, almost March, the time when winter starts breaking. When days warm, when nights freeze, when the sap runs, when the family makes maple syrup, the snow is still deep, 3 feet in places, but it's different now, heavier, wetter. Sugar snow, Father calls it. The kind that comes at the end of winter, that signals transition. That means maple sugaring season has arrived. This is one of your favourite times. When the whole family works together in the woods, when you tap trees, boil sap, make syrup, make sugar, make everything sweet that will last all year. It's hard work, long hours, but also magical, also wonderful, also the kind of work that doesn't feel like work because the reward is immediate and delicious. The sugar bush is a grove of sugar maple trees, big ones, old ones, some tapped for decades. They're the family's wealth, not dramatic wealth, not obvious, but real. These trees produce gallons of sap, hundreds of pounds of maple sugar, income from sales, sweetness for home, value from nature. Father shows you how to tap a tree, how to bore a hole at exactly the right angle. Not too deep, not too shallow, just enough to reach the sap layer without damaging the tree. how to insert the wooden spout, how to hang the bucket, how to cover it so snow and debris don't contaminate the sap. You work methodically, tree after tree, boring, inserting, hanging, covering. Your arms ache, your back hurts, but you keep going. This is important work, adult work, real work. You're trusted with it. That matters more than comfort. The sap doesn't look like syrup. It looks like water, slightly cloudy, barely sweet. 40 gallons of this will boil down to 1 gallon of syrup. That's the ratio. That's the reality. Maple sugaring is about patience, about processing massive quantities to get small amounts of concentrated sweetness. The boiling happens in the sugar house, small building in the woods, 3 walls, open front, big flat pans over roaring fire. Someone must tend the fire constantly, add wood, maintain temperature, watch the sap, skim foam, prevent burning. It's skilled work, important work. If you burn a batch, you've wasted a whole day's collecting, wasted fuel, wasted time, wasted value. Royal tends the fire today. Father supervises. You and Alice collect sap, walking through snow, gathering buckets, pouring them into the big gathering tank on the sled. The horse pulls it to the sugar house. You pour the sap into the boiling pan. Watch it steam. Watch the water evaporate. Watch magic happen. The smell is incredible. Sweet, rich, woodsy. It fills the forest, announces to everyone within miles that the Wilders are sugaring, that spring is coming, that winter is ending. It's the smell of hope, of renewal, of survival. You made it through another winter. Now comes the reward. Now comes sweetness. The first batch finishes. Father tests it, pours a bit on snow, watches it harden. Tests the texture, the colour, the taste, nods. Good, he says, that one word. The highest praise, the acknowledgement that the work was done right, that the syrup is perfect, that the family will have sweetness for another year. Mother arrives with dinner, hot food brought from the house, bread, meat, cheese and fresh maple syrup to taste. You pour it on bread, eat it with snow, drink it in hot tea. It's the taste of spring, of sunshine concentrated, of trees giving their gift, of nature providing sweetness after months of harsh cold. The sugaring continues for days, while the sap runs. While days warm and nights freeze, the family works together, collecting, boiling, pouring, testing, making syrup, making maple sugar cakes, making everything sweet they'll need for the year. Some syrup is kept for family use. Some maple sugar is sold in Malone. Mother's butter business plus father's maple sugar plus whatever crops they sell equals family income, equals security, equals the ability to buy flour and coffee and the few things they don't produce themselves. You eat maple sugar candy while you work. Small pieces, just enough for energy, for sweetness, for reward. It melts on your tongue. Concentrated sunshine, pure sweetness. The opposite of winter's bitterness, the promise that warmth is coming, that gardens will grow, that life will be easier soon. But here's what makes maple sugaring special. It's stolen from winter. It's sweetness extracted during the coldest months. It's nature's gift during the harshest season. It's proof that even in difficulty there's reward. Even in cold there's warmth. Even in hardship there's sweetness. You just have to work for it. Have to know where to look, have to understand nature enough to harvest her gifts. This lesson will serve you forever. Later in Dakota during the long winter, you'll remember this. Remember that winter eventually ends, that sweetness eventually comes, that survival is possible if you're patient, if you work, if you don't give up, if you understand that hardship is temporary but perseverance is rewarded. But right now, you're just working, just collecting sap, just tasting sweetness, just being 9 years old in a sugar bush in upstate New York, just part of a family, part of a tradition, part of something larger than yourself. Night falls. The boiling continues. Someone must watch the fire all night. Royal volunteers. He's 16, strong, capable, trustworthy. He'll stay. He'll tend. He'll protect the family's sweetness from burning or boiling over or being wasted. You walk home through dark woods, through sugar snow. The moon is bright, the sky is clear, the cold is sharp but not bitter, bearable, manageable, spring-like almost. Father carries tools, mother carries empty dishes, Alice holds your hand. Family, together. Walking home after a day of work, tired but satisfied, productive, purposeful. Tomorrow you'll go back, we'll collect more sap, we'll boil more batches, we'll make more sugar, we'll continue until the sap stops running, until the season ends, until enough sweetness is stored for the year. That's farming, that's patience, that's understanding natural rhythms and working with them instead of against them. This is March 1867. You're 9, you're learning, you're becoming. You're absorbing lessons that won't make sense for decades, but they're sinking in, taking root, growing, shaping who you'll become, preparing you for futures you can't imagine, for challenges you don't know exist, for a life that will take you from these abundant woods to starving prairie towns to Missouri farms that you'll build from rocks and determination. But tonight, you're just walking home, just tasting maple sugar, just happy, just alive, just part of something good, something sweet, something worth preserving, worth remembering, worth writing down someday so generations who never saw a sugar bush can understand what it meant, what it cost, what it gave, what it taught. The house appears, warm light in windows, the stove burning, beds waiting, safety, comfort, home. You'll sleep well tonight, deeply, dreaming of sweetness, of spring, of warmth coming, of winter ending, of life continuing, of being exactly where you're supposed to be. You're standing in the hayfield, July 1867. The sun is brutal, not warm, brutal. It beats down without mercy, without shade, without relief. This is haying time, the most important work of summer, the most exhausting work of the year. Everything depends on this. The animals need hay for winter. No hay means no livestock. No livestock means no farm. Simple as that. Father is mowing with the big scythe, swinging it in long rhythmic arcs. The blade cuts through grass like it's water. Whoosh, 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 never stopping, never slowing. He's been doing this for hours, will do it for hours more. His shirt is soaked, his face is red, but he doesn't stop. Can't stop. The weather is perfect, dry, sunny. The hay needs to be cut and dried before rain comes, before it's ruined, before winter arrives and catches you unprepared. Royal is behind him, spreading the cut grass, making sure it dries evenly, making sure it doesn't clump, making sure air circulates. This is skilled work, important work. Hay that doesn't dry properly will mould, will rot, will be useless, worse than useless, dangerous. Mouldy hay can kill animals, can cause fires, can destroy everything. So Royal works carefully, methodically, his back aching, his hands blistered, but he doesn't complain. No one complains. This is farming. This is survival. Complaining doesn't change anything. You're following with a rake, gathering hay into rows, windrows, Father calls them, long lines of drying grass waiting to be loaded onto wagons. Your arms hurt. Your shoulders burn. Your hands are raw despite the leather gloves, but you keep working, because that's what Wilders do, because the family depends on this, because winter is coming and doesn't care about your discomfort. The smell is incredible, sweet, green, alive. Fresh-cut hay smells like summer concentrated, like sunshine turned into scent. You breathe it in, let it fill your lungs. It makes the work bearable, makes the exhaustion meaningful. This is what abundance smells like, what security smells like, what winter survival smells like. By afternoon, the hay is dried enough to load. Father brings the wagon. Prince and Lady are hitched to it. Beautiful Morgan horses, strong, patient, reliable. They stand calmly while you load hay, fork after fork, layer after layer. The wagon fills slowly. The pile grows higher, higher than your head. Higher than Father's head. A mountain of hay that will keep the animals alive when snow covers everything. You climb onto the load. Your job is to pack it down, to step on each layer, to compress it, to make sure the wagon can hold as much as possible. It's like walking on a cloud, like stepping on something that gives but holds, like being on top of the world. From up here, you can see the entire farm, the house with smoke rising from the chimney where Mother is cooking, the barn where the animals wait in the shade, the fields stretching in every direction, golden wheat, green corn, the vegetable garden bursting with life, the apple orchard heavy with fruit, the sugar bush in the distance, all of it, your world, your family's world, built by work, maintained by work, sustained by endless, endless work. Father calls up. How's it look? You survey the load, judge the balance, check the corners. Good, you say. It's good. He nods, climbs onto the wagon seat, clicks to the horses. They lean into the harness, muscles rippling. The wagon lurches forward. You grip the sides, stay balanced. The ride to the barn is bumpy, uncomfortable, but satisfying. This load represents hours of work, hours of family labour, hours of survival being stored away. At the barn, the real work begins, unloading, fork after fork, tossing hay into the loft, where it will be stored, where it will wait, where it will keep animals alive through 6 months of winter. Your arms shake, your back screams, but you keep going, because the wagon needs to be empty, because there's more hay in the field waiting, because you have to make 3 more loads before dinner. Because farming doesn't pause for exhaustion. Royal is in the loft, spreading hay, packing it, making sure it's distributed evenly, making sure the weight doesn't stress the floor. He's covered in chaff, in dust, in bits of grass. He looks like a scarecrow come to life. But he's grinning, actually grinning, because this is good hay, a good crop, a successful harvest. This means security. This means that animals will be fed. This means the farm will survive another year. Finally, the wagon is empty. Father wipes his face, looks at the sky, judges the time. 1 more load before dinner, he says. Let's go. You want to cry, want to beg for rest, want to collapse in the shade and sleep for a week, but you don't. You climb back on the wagon, ride back to the field, start loading again, because that's farming. Because nature doesn't negotiate, because hay needs to be made while the sun shines. Literally. Rain could come any moment, could ruin everything, so you work while you can, as fast as you can, as hard as you can. The dinner bell rings. Noon, Mother calling. The most beautiful sound in the world. You abandon the half-loaded wagon, run toward the house, wash at the pump, freezing water that feels like heaven on sun-baked skin. Scrub the chaff off your arms, out of your hair, off your neck. You're still dirty, still sweaty, but cleaner. Clean enough for dinner. The kitchen is cool, relatively. Mother has kept the fire low, cooked earlier when it was cooler, but the food is hot, waiting, perfect. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, gravy, fresh peas, carrots, bread still warm, butter, pickles, and pie. Always pie. Strawberry today. Red and sweet and perfect. You eat silently, quickly, mechanically, shoveling food in. Your body is screaming for fuel, for calories, for energy to finish the afternoon. You eat 2 full plates, 3 pieces of bread, 2 slices of pie, and you're still hungry, still not full, because you've burned thousands of calories, because you'll burn thousands more, because haying is the hardest work of the year. Father eats just as much. Royal eats more. Even Mother and the girls eat heartily. Everyone works during haying. Everyone contributes. Everyone needs fuel. This meal isn't pleasure. It's necessity. It's maintenance. It's keeping the human machines running so they can keep working. After dinner, you're allowed 20 minutes rest. You collapse on the porch, close your eyes, feel the breeze. It's not enough. Not nearly enough. But it's what you get. Because there's hay in the field. Because weather can change. Because survival demands sacrifice. Back to work. 3 more loads. 6 more hours. Your body moves mechanically, automatically. Fork, lift, toss, step, pack, balance. Over and over, your mind goes blank, empties, just exists, just survives. This is meditation through exhaustion. This is transcendence through labour. This is knowing you can endure more than you thought possible. The sun finally sets. The last load is in the barn. Father closes the big doors, looks at what you've accomplished, nods. Good work, he says. 2 words, but they mean everything. They mean you contributed. They mean you mattered. They mean you're becoming the farmer you're supposed to be. Evening chores still wait. Animals still need feeding. Cows still need milking. Chickens still need tending. But these are light chores. Easy chores. After haying, everything else feels simple. Your body's destroyed. Your hands are blistered. Your back is locked. But you're satisfied. Deeply satisfied. You did something important. Something essential. Something that matters. Supper is quiet. Everyone is too tired to talk. Too exhausted for conversation. Mother serves cold chicken, bread and butter, milk, fresh berries with cream. Simple food, but perfect. Exactly what exhausted bodies need. You eat slowly this time, savouring, appreciating, grateful for the food, for the family, for the farm, for being alive and strong and capable of work. After supper, you don't go to the parlour. Don't read. Don't do anything. You just go to bed. Fall into it. Your body sinks into the mattress like it's quicksand. Your eyes close immediately. You sleep instantly, deeply, dreamlessly. The sleep of complete exhaustion. The sleep of honest work. The sleep of survival earned. Tomorrow you'll do it again, and again, for 2 weeks, until all the hay is cut and dried and stored, until winter is prepared for, until the farm is secure. That's haying season. That's summer work. That's the rhythm of the land. Plant, tend, harvest, store, survive, repeat. Year after year, generation after generation, forever. This is farming, not romantic, not easy, not gentle, hard, brutal, exhausting, but meaningful, purposeful, essential. You're feeding animals that feed the family. You're creating security. You're building survival. You're learning that you're stronger than you knew, that you can endure more than you thought, that work isn't punishment. It's purpose. It's contribution. It's how you earn your place in the world. Almanzo is learning this at 10 years old, learning it through blisters and backaches and exhaustion so complete he can barely walk. But he's learning it, absorbing it, becoming it. These lessons will save his life someday, will help him survive the long winter, will help him build Rocky Ridge Farm from rocks and determination, will help him endure crop failures and illness and debt and everything life throws at him. But right now, he's just sleeping, just recovering, just being 10, just surviving another day of haying, just living a childhood that will someday become a book, that will someday teach millions what real work looks like, what real survival requires, what America was before machines made everything easy, before work became abstracted from survival, before people forgot that abundance requires labour, that nothing is free, that everything costs, that farming is the hardest, most important, most underappreciated work in the world. But he doesn't know that yet. He's just sleeping, just dreaming, just being a boy who smells like hay and sweat and summer, just part of a family, just part of a farm, just part of something larger than himself, something that will outlast him, something that matters. You're standing in the barn, late August. The wheat is ready, not to cut, that's done. The sheaves are stacked, dried, waiting, ready for the next step, threshing, separating grain from straw, wheat from chaff, food from waste. The job that transforms harvest into survival. But this isn't a family job. This is community work. This requires more hands than one family has. More strength than one farm can provide. This requires a threshing bee, where neighbours gather, where everyone works together, where the community proves it's more than individual farms existing near each other. It's a system, a network, a web of mutual support. The wagons start arriving at dawn. Mr. Paddock with his sons, Mr. Weed with his boys, the Whaleys, the Ripleys, families you know, neighbours you see at church, at the county fair, in town, men and boys, strong, ready, bringing their labour, their skill, their willingness to help. Because today it's the Wilder farm. Next week it'll be someone else's. The week after, another. Everyone helps everyone. That's how farming works. That's how communities survive. The barn becomes chaos, organised chaos. Father is directing, assigning positions, explaining the process. The older men know what to do. They've done this for decades. But the younger ones need instruction, need guidance, need to learn by doing, by making mistakes, by figuring it out. The threshing floor is prepared, clean, swept, ready. The wheat sheaves are brought from the stacks, placed on the floor, then the flails come out. Long wooden handles, short swinging pieces attached by leather. Simple tools, primitive tools, but effective. You swing the flail, bring it down on the wheat. Thwack. The grain separates, falls, mixes with chaff. The straw compresses, breaks, releases its precious cargo. The sound is incredible. 20 men, 20 flails, all swinging, all hitting, all threshing. Thwack, thwack, thwack. Like drums, like thunder, like the heartbeat of the farm made audible. It's loud, deafening almost, but rhythmic, musical even. A work song played with tools instead of instruments. You're too young for a flail, too small, too weak. You'd hurt yourself. Or worse, hurt someone else. But you have a job. You're gathering straw, moving it away from the threshing floor, stacking it, clearing space for more wheat. It's important work. Essential work. The older men can't stop threshing to move straw, so you do it. Proud, eager, contributing. The work continues for hours, men rotating, taking breaks, drinking water, cider, catching their breath. Then back to threshing. The pile of winnowed grain grows slowly, so slowly. It takes mountains of wheat to make barrels of grain. The ratio seems impossible. All this work, all this labour, all these hours, for grain that will be gone in a year, eaten, used, consumed. Then you'll have to do it again, plant again, harvest again. Thresh again, forever. But that's farming, that's survival. Food doesn't just appear, it's created. Through work, through seasons, through endless cycles of planting and tending and harvesting. City people don't understand this. They buy bread, they don't see the wheat, don't see the threshing, don't see the milling, don't see the work. They think food just exists, just appears in stores, just costs money. They don't understand the labour, the skill, the time, the cost measured in blisters and backaches and exhaustion. Mid-morning, Mother and the girls appear. They've been cooking, preparing dinner. The biggest meal they'll cook all year. 20 hungry men, all working hard, all burning calories, all needing massive amounts of food. This is Mother's threshing bee, cooking enough to feed an army, making sure everyone is satisfied. Making sure the Wilder hospitality is remembered, making sure their reputation is maintained. The tables are set up outside, under the trees, where there's shade, breeze, relief from the heat. The men stop working, wash up, gather. You see the camaraderie, the jokes, the laughter. These men work their own farms, compete at county fairs. But today they're united. Today they're brothers. Today they're community. The food arrives. Mother and Eliza, Jane and Alice carrying platters, bowls, dishes, mountains of food. You've never seen this much food. Roast beef, baked ham, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, beans, fresh bread, biscuits, butter, preserves, pickles, and pies. So many pies. Apple, cherry, blueberry, custard. Enough to feed everyone twice over. The men eat. Silently, seriously, focused. This isn't social dining. This is refueling. This is taking on calories for the afternoon's work. Plates are loaded, emptied, reloaded, emptied again. You watch in awe. These men eat more than you thought humanly possible. More than Almanzo eats. More than anyone. But they need it. They're burning it off, using it, converting food directly into labour. Father stands, raises his cup. Thank you all for coming. The Wilders appreciate your help. We'll be at your farms when you need us. Simple words, formal words, but meaningful. This is the contract, the agreement, the community understanding. We help you, you help us. Together we survive. Apart, we fail. After dinner, back to work. The afternoon is hotter, harder, more exhausting. But the wheat is getting done. The piles of grain are growing. The stacks of straw are increasing. Progress is visible, measurable. Satisfying. By evening it's finished. All the Wilder wheat is threshed, ready for milling, ready to become flour, ready to become bread, ready to feed the family through another year. The neighbours load into wagons, head home, to their own farms, their own work, their own survival. Father shakes hands, thanks everyone again, promises to help when needed. The wagons disappear. The farm is quiet again. Just family, just regular evening chores. But the barn is full of grain. The work is done. The community came through. You're learning something important here. Something school never teaches. Something books don't explain. You're learning that independence isn't isolation. That self-reliance doesn't mean refusing help. That strong communities are built on mutual support, on reciprocity. On people understanding they're stronger together than apart. Father preaches independence, freedom, self-sufficiency, but he also participates in threshing bees, in barn raisings, in community events. He understands the paradox. You can be independent in your daily life, in your decision-making, in your values, but still be connected to community, still be part of something larger, still recognize that some jobs require cooperation, require many hands, require setting aside competition for collaboration. This is the American ideal. Rugged individualism balanced with community cooperation. Independence balanced with interdependence. Freedom balanced with responsibility. It's not one or the other, it's both. Simultaneously, in tension, in balance, in the constant negotiation between self and community. The threshing bee teaches this, shows this, proves this. 20 families, 20 independent farms. But when needed, they become one unit, one workforce, one community. Then they separate again. Back to individual operations, back to independence, back to freedom, but the memory remains. The reciprocity remains. The network remains. Ready to activate when needed. Ready to support. Ready to save. Ready to survive together what couldn't be survived alone. This lesson will serve Almanzo forever. Later in Desmet, during the long winter, the community will survive because they work together, share resources, support each other. Almanzo's wheat run will save everyone. Because he's part of the community. Because they're his people. Because survival is communal even when life is individual. But right now he's just tired. Just grateful the threshing is done. Just heading to bed early because tomorrow is another work day. Another set of chores, another step in the endless cycle of farming. But tonight the wheat is threshed, the barn is full, the community proved itself, and the Wilder family can sleep well knowing they're not alone, not isolated, not abandoned to face everything themselves. They're part of something, connected, supported, safe. You're standing in the training yard, September 1867. Cool mornings, warm afternoons, perfect weather, perfect timing. Because today, Father is giving you what you've wanted for years, what you've dreamed about every night, what you've worked toward with every task completed correctly, every responsibility handled, every test passed, your own Colt to break. He's beautiful, young, maybe 2 years old, brown coat, intelligent eyes, Morgan breeding. The best. Father wouldn't trust you with inferior stock. This is quality. This is value. This is Father saying, you're ready. You're capable. You've proven yourself. The colt's name is Starlight. At least that's what you're calling him. He's not trained yet. Doesn't know his name. Doesn't know anything except running free in the pasture. Playing with other young horses. being wild, being himself. Your job is to change that, to transform this wild, free animal into a working horse, a partner, a tool, but without breaking his spirit, without destroying what makes him special. That's the art, the skill, the thing that separates good horsemen from bad ones. Bad horsemen break horses, literally, break their spirits, make them afraid, submissive through fear. They obey, but they don't trust. They work, but they don't partner. They're tools, but not companions. Good horsemen train horses, build relationships, earn trust, create partnerships where the horse chooses to cooperate, because cooperation brings reward. Where obedience comes from respect, not fear. Where work becomes shared purpose rather than forced submission. Father taught you this, showed you this. Now you must do it yourself, with Starlight, with your Colt, with your responsibility. You start slowly, just being near him, talking to him, letting him get used to your presence, your smell, your voice. You bring him apples, carrots, treats, building positive association. You mean good things. You bring food. You're safe, your friend, not threat. Days pass. Starlight lets you touch him. At first, just briefly, then longer. You stroke his neck, his shoulder, his flank. He doesn't run, doesn't spook. Just stands, accepting, curious, beginning to trust. Then comes the halter. First time. This is crucial. If you mess this up, you set training back weeks. You approach carefully. Halter behind your back. Just visiting. Just being friend. Starlight relaxes. You bring the halter out slowly. Let him smell it. Investigate it. It's not scary. Just leather. Just straps. Just new thing. You slip it over his nose. Gently. Slowly. He tosses his head. Pulls back. You hold steady. Not pulling. Not forcing. Just steady. Persistent. Patient. He settles. The halter is on. He doesn't like it. He shakes his head. Tries to rub it off. But it stays. You reward him. Apple. Praise. Good voice. This is okay. This is safe. This brings treats. Next step. Leading. You attach the rope. Apply gentle pressure. Starlight doesn't understand. Doesn't move. You wait. Keep pressure. He finally takes a step forward. You immediately release pressure. Reward. Praise. He learns. Moving forward releases pressure. Brings reward. Brings praise. You practice. Over and over. Leading him around the yard. At first it's a battle. He pulls. Stops. Refuses. But you're patient. Consistent. Always the same signals. Always the same rewards. Always the same expectations. Horses learn through repetition. Through consistency. Through predictable cause and effect. Weeks pass. Starlight leads well. Responds to the rope. Walks beside you. Stops when you stop. Turns when you guide. This is progress. Real, measurable progress. You're building the foundation. Everything else depends on this. If he doesn't lead well, you can't train him for anything else. Now comes the hard part. The saddle blanket. The saddle. The bridle. The bit. All the equipment that will make him rideable. Each piece is a new challenge, a new thing to accept, a new test of trust. You start with the blanket. Let him smell it, touch it, then drape it over his back. He jumps, runs. The blanket falls. You start over again. Finally he stands still, lets the blanket stay. You reward him. Leave the blanket on, let him walk with it. Get used to it. Accept it. The saddle is harder, it's heavy, weird shaped, has straps that hang down. Starlight doesn't like it. He sidesteps, tries to avoid it. But you're patient, persistent. Eventually you get it on, not cinched, just resting there. He dances, nervous, but doesn't panic. You walk him around, the saddle stays, he begins to accept. Cinching is the real test. You tighten the girth, slowly, gradually. Starlight's eyes get wide. This is uncomfortable. Strange. Scary. He considers running. bucking, fighting. You talk to him. Calm voice, steady hands, not hurting him, just new, just different, just okay. He doesn't explode, doesn't panic, just stands there tense, worried, but trusting you. Because you've been consistent, been kind, been rewarding, been safe. So even though this is scary, maybe it's okay, maybe you won't hurt him. Maybe this is just another weird thing that leads to apples and praise. The bridle and bit are their own challenge. Horses hate bits. They're invasive, uncomfortable, unnatural, but necessary. How else do you communicate with a moving horse? How else do you direct them? So Starlight must accept it, must learn that the bit isn't torture, it's communication, it's guidance, it's how you work together. You practice, weeks more, putting equipment on, taking it off, walking him around, letting him get completely comfortable with everything, until the saddle and bridle are normal, expected, no longer scary, just part of the routine. Finally the moment arrives. Father says you're ready, Starlight is ready, time to ride, you're terrified, excited. This is it. The culmination of months of work, the test of everything you've learned, everything you've built. Father helps you mount, you're light, young, not scary to Starlight, your weight is manageable. He shifts, uncomfortable, but doesn't bolt. You sit still, very still, just letting him adjust. Get used to this new sensation. Weight on his back, rider in the saddle. Everything is different now. You ask him to walk, gentle pressure. He takes a step, then another. You're riding. Actually riding your colt, your horse, your partner. Pride swells in your chest. You did this. You trained him. You earned this. This is yours. The first rides are short, just around the yard, but each day you go farther, longer, building his strength, building his confidence, building the partnership. By October, you're riding Starlight around the farm. By November, you're taking him on the roads. By December, he's a broke horse. Not perfectly trained. That will take years, but rideable, usable, working. Father examines your work, rides Starlight himself, tests the training, looks for flaws, for bad habits, for problems. He finds some, minor things, places where training needs reinforcement, but overall he's satisfied. You did good work, he says. 4 words, but they mean you passed. You proved yourself. You earned the right to train more horses, to eventually have your own breeding stock, to become a horseman, like father, like his father, like generations of Wilders before you. This achievement means more than winning blue ribbons, more than good grades, more than anything else, because this is real skill, valuable skill, marketable skill. Men who can break horses well are always needed, always employed, always valued. You have a trade now, a talent, something that will earn money, create opportunities, ensure you can always support yourself. But more than that, you have confidence. You know you can take something wild and make it useful, can take something afraid and make it trusting, can take something uncooperative and make it willing. These are skills that apply to more than horses. These are life skills, relationship skills, leadership skills. You're learning to earn trust, to be consistent, to reward cooperation, to be patient, to persist through difficulty. Starlight will be yours for years, will carry you through your teenage years, will be there when you court Laura, will teach you lessons no book ever could, will be friend and partner and tool and companion, all because you put in the work, earned the trust, built the relationship, proved yourself worthy. And decades later, when Laura writes this down, when she preserves this story, readers will envy you, will wish they could have their own colt, will dream of training horses and riding free, but they'll miss the work, the patience, the failures, the frustration, the hours of repetitive, boring, difficult training. They'll see the result and not the process, the product and not the labour, the achievement and not the cost. But you paid the cost, you did the work, and that's what makes Starlight yours. Not legally, not officially, but truly, deeply, in the way that only work can create. You earned him. He trusts you. That's a bond that matters more than ownership, more than money, more than anything else. This is what Father was teaching, what all the training was about, not just breaking a colt, learning to build things that matter, learning to earn things worth having, learning that the best things in life require work, require patience, require skill, require time, and that shortcuts don't exist. That easy things aren't valuable. That value comes from difficulty overcome, from challenges met, from work completed despite wanting to quit. These lessons will carry you through life, will help you survive the long winter, will help you build Rocky Ridge, will help you raise a daughter who becomes a writer, will help you live to 92 years old, still working, still contributing, still valuable, all because you learned to break a colt, to earn trust, to build partnerships, to value work, to persist. But right now you're just riding, just happy, just 10 years old on your own horse, just living the best moment of your childhood, just being exactly where you're supposed to be, on starlight, on your farm, in your life, perfect. You're standing in darkness, December 25th, 1867, 3:30 in the morning, too early to be awake, too dark to see anything, but you're awake anyway. So is Royal, so are Alice and Eliza Jane, all of you standing at the top of the stairs, shivering, excited, Christmas morning. "Let's go down," Royal whispers. He's 17, should be too old for this kind of excitement, but he's not. None of you are. Because downstairs by the fireplace are presents, things wrapped in paper, things you've been dreaming about for weeks, things that will make today special, different, perfect. "Should we wake Mother and Father?" Alice asks. Her voice is tentative, uncertain. She knows the rules. Children don't wake parents, but Christmas is different, isn't it? You start down the stairs, carefully. The wood creaks. Each step sounds like thunder in the silent house. But you keep going. Royal behind you, Alice behind him, Eliza Jane last. Probably disapproving but coming anyway, because she's human too, despite pretending otherwise. The parlour is dark except for embers glowing in the fireplace. Red and orange coals. Dying but not dead. Just enough light to see shapes. The stockings hanging from the mantel. The wrapped bundles on the table. The magic of Christmas morning waiting to be discovered. You reach for a package. Your hand is shaking. Partly from cold, partly from excitement, partly from knowing you're breaking the rules. Father's voice stops you. "Almanzo." You freeze. Turn. Father is standing in the doorway. Nightshirt, bare feet, hair uncombed. Mother is beside him. Both of them looking at you. Not angry. Just there. Watching. Waiting. "Yes, Father?" Your voice is small, guilty. You were caught. Breaking the rules. On Christmas morning. Father doesn't say anything. Just walks to the mantel, lights a candle. The flame illuminates his face. He looks tired. But also something else. Amused. Fond. You can't quite read it. He pulls out his pocket watch. Opens it. Studies the face. Looks at you. "Children," he says quietly. "Have you looked at the clock?" You shake your head. "Haven't looked. Don't care. It's Christmas morning. What does time matter?" Father holds the watch toward you. 3:30. Too early. Way too early. Hours before dawn. Hours before a reasonable time to open presents. You understand now. He's not angry. He's teaching. Showing you that excitement doesn't override reality. That rules still apply. That patience matters even on Christmas morning. "Perhaps," Mother says gently, "you should return to bed. Sleep a bit more. When it's properly morning, we'll all come down together." Disappointment crashes through you. Heavy. Painful. You want to argue, want to beg, want to say this isn't fair, but you don't. Because Father and Mother are right. Because 3:30 is ridiculous. Because Christmas morning will be just as special at 6 o'clock as it is now. So you trudge back upstairs, back to your cold bedroom, back to your bed that suddenly feels like punishment instead of a rest. Royal is silent beside you. Alice is sniffling. Even Eliza Jane looks disappointed, though she'd never admit it. But here's what makes this moment perfect. You try to sleep and can't. Your mind races. What's in those packages? What did Mother make? What did Father buy in Malone? Will there be candy, books, new clothes, practical things or special things or both? The wait is torture. Beautiful torture. Anticipation that makes your chest tight and your stomach flutter. This is childhood at its purest. This is wanting something so badly that waiting becomes almost unbearable. Almost, but not quite. Because the waiting makes the getting better. The patience makes the reward sweeter. The discipline makes the joy more meaningful. You must drift off eventually because suddenly Mother is calling. Children, Christmas breakfast. And it's light outside. Grey winter light, but light. Real morning, proper time. Permission granted. You race downstairs. Properly this time. Royal beating you because he's bigger and faster. Alice right behind. Even Eliza Jane hurries though she tries to maintain dignity. This is it. This is the moment. This is Christmas morning for real. The parlour is warm now. Fire roaring. Candles lit. The tree Father cut last week is decorated with strings of popcorn and cranberries and paper ornaments you all made. It's beautiful. Perfect. Magic made real. But first, breakfast. Because that's the rule. Presents wait until after you've eaten. Another lesson in patience. Another test of discipline. Another moment where anticipation builds until you think you might explode. Breakfast is spectacular. Even more abundant than usual. Oatmeal with thick cream and maple sugar, sausages, fried potatoes, fresh bread, and special Christmas donuts rolled in cinnamon sugar. Everything hot and delicious and perfect. But you barely taste it. You eat mechanically, quickly, trying to finish without seeming rushed, trying to be patient without actually feeling patient. Finally, Father pushes back his chair, nods. I suppose it's time, he says. His eyes are twinkling. He knows what this means to you. Remembers being young. Remembers Christmas mornings in his own childhood. He's drawing this out, making it special, making it last. The presents are distributed, one for each person, wrapped in plain brown paper, tied with string. Nothing fancy, nothing store-bought and elaborate, but precious, valuable, meaningful. You open yours carefully, trying not to rip the paper because Mother will save it. We'll reuse it next year. Nothing is wasted in the Wilder household, not even wrapping paper. Inside is a knife, not a toy knife, a real knife, sharp, heavy, beautiful. The handle is carved wood, smooth, perfect for your hand. The blade is steel, well made, quality. This isn't a child's gift. This is a tool, a real tool, an acknowledgement that you're growing up, that you're trusted, that you're capable. Every man needs a good knife, Father says. Take care of it. Keep it sharp, use it well. You nod, can't speak, throat too tight. This gift means everything. It means Father sees you, trusts you, believes you're becoming the man you're supposed to be. The knife is beautiful, but the meaning is more beautiful. The object is valuable, but the message is more valuable. You're growing up. You're ready. You're trusted. Royal gets a new leather belt. Hand-tooled, practical, but beautiful. Alice gets fabric for a new dress. Blue calico. Pretty. Eliza Jane gets books. Always books. She reads constantly. Devours knowledge like Almanzo devours food. Mother receives a new shawl. Father must have bought it in Malone. Soft wool. Deep green. She wraps it around her shoulders immediately. Smiles at Father. A private smile. A married people smile. Something shared between them that children can't fully understand. Father gets work gloves, sturdy, well made, from Mother's careful savings from butter sales. He examines them carefully, nods approval. These will last, he says. High praise from a man who values quality above all else. But then, the surprise. The thing nobody expected. Father stands, walks to the door, opens it. Cold air rushes in. He beckons. Almanzo, come here. You stand, confused, curious, nervous. What's happening? What's outside? Why is father breaking the Christmas morning routine? You follow him out. The cold hits you like a wall. Snow everywhere. World white and clean and frozen. Your breath makes clouds. Your feet sink into drifts. Father is walking toward the barn. You follow, still confused, still wondering. He opens the barn door. The animals shift. Horses, cows, the familiar smell of hay and manure and warm bodies. But father isn't checking animals. He's walking to a stall, one you haven't noticed before, one that must have been prepared secretly, recently. Inside the stall is a colt, young, maybe 6 months old, Morgan breeding, brown coat, white star on his forehead. Beautiful, perfect, your dream made real. His name is Starlight, father says. His voice is quiet, serious. He's yours, to train, to break, to make into the horse he's meant to be. Do you understand what this means? You nod. Can't speak. Tears are freezing on your cheeks. This is more than a gift. This is a responsibility. This is father saying, you're ready. You proved yourself with Star and Bright. You trained them well. You showed patience and skill and dedication. Now you get what you've wanted. Now you get your colt. He's your responsibility, father continues. You feed him, train him, care for him, make mistakes and he suffers. Do well and he becomes the finest horse in the county. This is real, Almanzo. This isn't a toy. This is a living creature depending on you. Are you ready? Yes, sir, you manage. Voice thick, wobbly, but certain. Absolutely certain. You're ready. You've been ready. You'll do this right. You'll make father proud. You'll prove that his trust wasn't misplaced. Father's hand lands on your shoulder. Heavy. Warm. Good, he says. Just that one word. But it means, I believe in you. I trust you. I'm proud of you. You're becoming the man I hoped you'd be. You stand there, in the cold barn, with your colt, your responsibility, your future, and you understand something profound. Christmas isn't about presents. It's about trust, about being recognized, about moving from childhood towards something bigger, something more important, something real. This is the best Christmas of your life. Not because of the knife, though, that's wonderful. Not because of the food, though that's delicious. Because of this moment, this recognition, this transition from boy to young man, this acknowledgement that you matter, that you're capable, that you're trusted with something important. You reach out slowly. Let Starlight smell your hand. He sniffs, curious, not afraid, just curious. You stroke his nose gently, soft velvet, warm breath. He doesn't pull away, doesn't spook, just stands there, accepting your touch, beginning the relationship that will define both of you. Thank you whisper, to father, to Christmas, to whatever force in the universe made this moment possible. Thank you. Father nods. Doesn't say anything else, doesn't need to. Everything that matters has been said. Everything important has been given. Now comes the work, the responsibility, the daily tasks that turn gifts into relationships, that turn potential into reality, that turn boys into men. You walk back to the house together, father and son, the colt in the barn, the family in the parlour, Christmas morning continuing. But everything is different now. You're different now. You have a colt. You have responsibility. You have proof that you're growing up, that you're becoming someone who matters. The rest of the day is wonderful. Town cousins arrive, loud, boastful, wearing fancy store-bought clothes, showing off toys their parents bought, looking down at your handmade things, your practical gifts, your simple life, but you don't care. You have something they don't, something money can't buy. You have a colt you'll train yourself, a relationship you'll build through work and patience and skill. They have toys that will break. You have something that will last, something that will matter, something real. The dinner is spectacular, even by Wilder standards. Turkey, ham, roast beef, mashed potatoes, gravy, every vegetable imaginable, cranberry sauce, fresh bread, and pies. So many pies. apple, pumpkin, mince, custard, enough food to feed an army, enough abundance to shame kings. You eat until you can't move, until your stomach is tight and your buttons strain, and you're convinced you'll never eat again. But it's Christmas, it's abundance, it's celebration of survival and family and prosperity and everything good. Evening comes, the cousins leave. Thank goodness. The house is quiet again, just family. The fire burns low. Father reads from the Bible, the Christmas story, about a baby born in a stable, about humble beginnings, about something small becoming something world-changing. You think about Starlight, small now, young, untrained, but with potential, with future, with the possibility of becoming something magnificent if you do the work, if you're patient, if you're dedicated, just like that baby in the stable. Small beginnings, great endings. If you do the work. Mother serves hot cider and Christmas cookies, sugar cookies shaped like stars and trees and angels. Sweet, delicious, perfect ending to a perfect day. You eat slowly this time, savouring, appreciating, knowing that tomorrow will be back to regular chores and regular life. But today was special. Today was Christmas. Today was magic. When you finally go to bed, you're exhausted, physically from excitement and food, emotionally from everything that happened, but you're happy, deeply, completely happy. You have a knife, you have a Colt, you have family, you have abundance, you have everything a 10-year-old boy could want. You lie in your cold bedroom, thinking, remembering, already planning. Tomorrow you'll start training Starlight. You'll begin building the relationship. You'll prove Father was right to trust you. You'll become the horseman you're meant to be. Outside, snow is falling again, soft, silent, covering everything in white, making the world clean and new. Tomorrow is December 26th, 1867. Just another winter day, but also the first day of your new life, the first day with Starlight, the first day of responsibility, the first day of becoming. You don't know what the future holds, don't know about the crop failures coming in the late 1860s, don't know about the family's move to Minnesota, don't know about Dakota Territory, don't know about a girl named Laura Ingalls who you'll meet years from now, don't know about the long winter, don't know about the wheat run that will make you a hero, don't know about Rocky Ridge Farm in Missouri, don't know about any of it. You're just 10 years old, in Burke, New York, on Christmas night 1867, with a Colt in the barn and a knife under your pillow and a family that loves you. That's enough. That's everything. That's all you need to know. Sleep comes slowly. Dreams come quickly. Dreams of riding Starlight. Dreams of being grown. Dreams of adventure. Dreams of the future. Good dreams. Happy dreams. The dreams of childhood before reality arrives, before hardship teaches its lessons, before life gets complicated. But those complications are coming. They're on their way. The abundant life in Burke won't last. The prosperity won't last. Nothing lasts forever. Change is coming. Hard times are coming. Choices are coming. But not tonight. Tonight is Christmas. Tonight is perfect. Tonight is the end of this story and the beginning of everything else. Tonight is the moment when a farm boy in upstate New York has everything he's ever wanted. Before he knows how rare that feeling is, before he knows how precious these moments are, before he knows that someday, decades later, his wife will write it all down, will preserve it, will turn his childhood into something that matters, into something that teaches, into something that lasts. But he doesn't know that yet. He's just sleeping, just dreaming, just being 10, just living a childhood that will someday become a book, that will someday become history, that will someday matter more than he can possibly imagine. You're standing in the wagon shed. Late January 1868. Father is beside you. Mr. Paddock is here too, the wheelwright from town, successful businessman, skilled craftsman. He's offered you an apprenticeship, a chance to learn a trade, to become a wheelwright yourself, to have a town job, town life, town future. It's an honour. Mr. Paddock doesn't offer apprenticeships to just anyone. He's seen you work. watched you help father repair equipment, noticed your careful hands, your attention to detail, your patience with difficult tasks. He thinks you have potential, thinks you could be excellent at the trade, thinks you could be successful. Well, son, father says. His voice is neutral, careful. What do you think? What do you think? The question is enormous. It's not about wheel writing. It's about your entire future, about the kind of man you'll become, about the life you'll live, about everything. Wheel writing means town, means a shop, means regular hours and regular pay and regular life, means never wondering if crops will fail, never worrying about drought or frost or hail, never depending on weather and luck and forces beyond your control. It means security, stability, safety. But it also means leaving the farm, leaving the animals, leaving starlight, leaving the land, leaving everything you know and love, leaving the life father built, the life grandfather built, the life Wilders have lived for generations. Mr. Paddock watches you, waiting. He's a good man, fair employer. His apprentices learn real skills, have real futures. He's offering you something valuable, something most farm boys would jump at, something that represents progress, opportunity, advancement. But you think about this morning, feeding Starlight, training him, watching him respond to commands, building the relationship, building trust, building something that matters. You think about that feeling, that satisfaction, that rightness. You think about father in the fields, working with the land, working with nature, working with seasons and rhythms older than human civilization, independent, free, beholden to no one except himself and the weather and God. That's freedom, real freedom, the kind town work never provides. Mr. Paddock shifts, impatient. He needs an answer. Has other prospects, other boys who take this opportunity gratefully. You need to decide, now, this moment, this choice that will define your entire future. Father speaks again, quiet, thoughtful. A farmer depends on himself and the land and the weather. If you're a farmer, you raise what you eat, you raise what you wear, and you keep warm with wood out of your own timber. You work hard, but you work as you please, and no man can tell you to go or come. You'll be free and independent, son, on a farm. There it is. The philosophy, the value system, the reason father does what he does. Freedom, independence, self-reliance, not comfort, not security, not ease. Freedom, the most American value of all, the thing men fight for, die for, choose hardship to preserve. You look at Mr. Paddock, good man, good offer, good future. But someone else's future, someone else's vision, someone else's life. You look at father, waiting, not pushing, not pressuring, just waiting for you to choose, trusting you to know yourself, to know what matters, to make the right choice for who you are, not who someone else thinks you should be. Thank you, Mr. Paddock, you say. Your voice is steady, certain. I appreciate the offer. It's a good offer, but I want to be a farmer, like my father. Mr. Paddock nods, not surprised, maybe even approving. Thought you might say that, he says. You've got your father's look about you. Can always tell a man who belongs to the land. Good luck to you, boy. You'll need it. He leaves. Father and you stand alone in the wagon shed, cold wind blowing through cracks, grey light filtering through dusty windows. Everything quiet except wind and your breathing. You understand what you chose? Father asks. His voice is serious, heavy. Farming isn't easy. Never has been. Never will be. There'll be years when crops fail. Years when you work yourself to death and have nothing to show for it. Years when you wonder if you made the right choice. Years when town life looks real good. You understand that? You nod. You do understand. You've seen father struggle, seen bad years, seen worry lines deepen when harvest is poor, seen him calculate in his head whether there's enough stored to get through winter. You know farming isn't romance, isn't easy, isn't guaranteed. But, father continues, you'll be your own man. You'll work land that's yours. Build something that lasts. Pass it to your children. Create something that matters. That's worth something, worth more than steady pay and easy hours, worth more than security. Freedom is worth everything, son. Everything. You feel it then, the rightness of your choice, the certainty that you chose correctly, not because farming is easy, because it's right, for you, for who you are, for what you value. You're a farmer, always have been, always will be. No matter what comes, no matter how hard it gets, this is who you are. Father's hand lands on your shoulder, squeezes once. I'm proud of you, he says. 4 words. But they're everything. They're validation. They're acknowledgement. They're love expressed in the only way men of his generation know how. Through respect. Through pride. Through trusting you made the right choice. You stand together. Father and son. Both farmers. Both committed to the land. To freedom. To independence. To the hard, unpredictable, meaningful life of working with nature instead of against it. It's a moment that matters, that will echo through years, that will sustain you through hard times ahead, because hard times are coming. The late 1860s will bring crop failures, multiple years of poor harvests, economic pressure, debt, worry. The family will leave Burke. We'll move to Minnesota. We'll start over. Father will be past 60. Starting over, building again, because that's what farmers do. They start over, they persist, they don't quit, and you'll be there, helping, working, building, because you chose this. You chose farming, you chose freedom, you chose the hard path because it's your path, because it's right, because it's who you are. Years later, you'll move to Dakota Territory, we'll homestead. We'll meet Laura Ingalls. We'll court her for 3 years because you're patient. You learned patience training Star and Bright, training Starlight, training yourself. Patience is the farmer's greatest virtue. Wait for seasons. Wait for growth. Wait for harvest. Wait for the right time. Always wait for the right time. You'll marry Laura. August 25th, 1885. You'll be 28. She'll be 18. You'll build a home together. Try to farm wheat in Dakota. It won't work. Crop failures, illness, debt, death. Your infant son dying, your home burning, everything falling apart, everything you worked for disappearing. But you won't quit. Because Wilders don't quit. Because farmers don't quit. Because freedom and independence are worth fighting for, worth suffering for, worth everything. You'll move to Missouri eventually. Rocky Ridge Farm. 40 acres of rocks and hillside. Nothing special, nothing easy. But yours. You'll build it slowly, over decades. Turn rocks into a farm. Turn wilderness into productivity. Turn nothing into something. Because that's what farmers do. They create, they build, they persist. Laura will write the books. We'll preserve your childhood. We'll turn the Wilder farm in Burke into something immortal. Into literature. Into history. People will read Farmer Boy and marvel at the abundance, at the food, at the prosperity, at the childhood that seemed perfect, but they'll miss the lesson, the choice. The moment in the wagon shed when a 10-year-old boy chose freedom over security, chose hardship over ease, chose to be a farmer because farmers are free, because independence matters more than comfort, because some things are worth sacrifice. That's the real story. Not the food, not the abundance, not the prosperity, the choice, the values, the commitment to freedom. That's what matters. That's what lasts. That's what made Almanzo Wilder someone worth remembering. But right now, you don't know any of that. You're just standing with Father in the wagon shed, having made a choice, having committed to a life, having become, in that moment, the man you're meant to be. Come on, Father says. Starlight needs feeding, and there's wood to haul. Work doesn't stop because you made a decision. You follow him out, into the cold, into the work, into the life you chose, and you're happy, deeply, completely happy. Because you know who you are, you know what you want, you know where you belong. You're a farmer, Almanzo Wilder, 10 years old, Burke, New York. January 1868. The The boy who ate apples for every meal, the boy who trained calves and won blue ribbons and got his own Colt for Christmas. The boy who chose freedom over security, the boy who will grow into the man who saves starving towns and builds farms from rocks and marries a woman who turns his childhood into immortality. But he doesn't know that yet. He's just feeding his Colt, just working with his father, just living his life, just being exactly who he's supposed to be, in exactly the right place, at exactly the right time, making exactly the right choice. And someday, generations later, people will read about him. We'll learn from him. We'll understand what American values looked like before the world became complicated, before independence became abstract, before farming became corporate, before freedom became something people talked about instead of lived. They'll read about fried apples and onions, about giant pumpkins, about county fairs, about Christmas morning, about a Colt named Starlight. And if they're paying attention, they'll see the real lesson, the one that matters, the one that makes this story worth telling. Choose freedom. Choose independence. Choose the hard path if it's your path. Work hard. Value quality. Build things that last. Take responsibility. Earn trust. Be patient. Persist. Don't quit. Ever. Those are the lessons. Those are the values. Those are the things that made America, that made Almanzo Wilder, that made a childhood in Burke, New York matter enough to preserve, to share, to remember. You're sitting at the dinner table, February 13th, 1868, your 11th birthday. 1 year exactly since this story began. 1 full year of seasons and work and growth and change. 1 year that's shaped who you're becoming. The table is loaded, as always. Mother outdid herself. Your favourite meal. Fried apples and onions, roast beef, mashed potatoes, gravy, fresh bread, and pie. 3 kinds, apple, pumpkin, custard, because it's your birthday, because you're special, because this day matters. But something feels different. You can't quite identify it. A tension in the air, a worry in Mother's eyes. Father's face is thoughtful, serious, more serious than usual. Royal is quiet. Alice looks sad. Even Eliza Jane seems subdued. You eat. The food is delicious as always. The fried apples and onions are perfect, sweet and savoury, comfort and homemade edible. You savour every bite, not rushing, not racing to finish. Just eating, appreciating, being present. After dinner, Father speaks. His voice is heavy, careful, choosing words deliberately. Son, we need to talk. About the future. About changes coming. Your stomach tightens. Changes. That word is never good. Changes mean disruption. Mean uncertainty. Mean things won't stay the same. And you want things to stay the same. This is perfect. This life. This farm. This family. Why change anything? The past few years have been hard, Father continues. The hop crop failed. Again. 3 years in a row. The potato crop isn't reliable anymore. Blight. Disease. Things we can't control. We're managing, but barely. The farm isn't producing like it used to. The land is tired. Or maybe the times are changing. Either way, we need to think about the future. Mother adds quietly, Your Aunt Laura is in Minnesota, Spring Valley. She writes that land there is productive, fresh, that farmers are succeeding, that opportunities exist. We're considering a move, eventually, not immediately, but eventually. The words hit you like cold water. Move, leave Burke, leave this farm, leave everything you know, leave the sugar bush and the ice pond and the barn where Starlight sleeps. Leave it all, start over, somewhere else, with strangers, with unfamiliar land, with nothing. I don't want to leave, you say. Your voice breaks, embarrassing but honest. This is home, this is our farm, this is where we belong. Father nods, understanding. I know, son. I don't want to leave either. This farm. My father owned land near here. I bought this place 30 years ago. Built everything. Every building. every fence, every improvement, put my life into this land. Leaving feels like failure, like giving up, like admitting defeat. His voice cracks, just slightly, just enough to show he's human, that this hurts him too, that he's not making this decision lightly or easily or happily. He's doing what he must, what survival requires, what family needs, even though it costs him everything. But, he continues, steadying his voice, a farmer has to be realistic, has to see what's happening, adapt, survive. The land here is giving out, crops are failing, we can stay and struggle, watch our savings disappear, watch everything we built crumble, or we can move while we still have resources, while we can afford to start over, while there's still time. Royal speaks. First time all dinner? When? Not this year, Father says. Maybe next. Maybe the year after, when the timing is right, when we can sell for fair price, when Minnesota is ready for us. We'll plan carefully, do this right. No rushing, no panic, just careful, deliberate transition. You push food around your plate, not hungry anymore. Birthday ruined, future uncertain, everything changing, everything ending. The farm in Burke won't be yours, won't be your children's, won't last. All this work, all this building, all this history will belong to someone else, will become their story instead of yours. But Father is right. You know he's right. You've seen the failed crops, seen Father's worry, heard conversations late at night when parents thought you were sleeping. The farm is struggling. Prosperity is ending. Change is necessary. Even if it's painful, even if it's unfair, even if you hate it. What about Starlight, you ask? The question that matters most. Your Colt, your responsibility, your relationship. He comes with us, Father says immediately, firmly. Everything that matters comes with us. The Morgan horses, the essential tools, the family. We're not leaving who we are, just where we are. We'll still be farmers, still be Wilders, still be family. The location changes, not the values, not the identity, not the important things. That helps. Some. You'll have Starlight. We'll continue training him. We'll build that relationship wherever you are. Burke or Minnesota or wherever life takes you. The Colt comes with you. That matters. That's something to hold on to. What does this mean for me, you ask? For my future? Father looks at you, really looks at you, seeing not the child you were but the young man you're becoming. It means you'll see things few people see. You'll experience starting over, building from nothing, creating something new. It won't be easy. Might be harder than staying here. But you'll learn. You'll grow. You'll develop skills and strength and resilience that only come from hardship. He pauses, then adds quietly, and someday, when you're old and looking back, you'll realize that leaving Burke was the beginning of your real story, that everything important happened after, that the move, as painful as it seems now, was necessary, was right, was part of becoming who you're meant to be. You don't fully understand, can't fully understand. You're 11. You love this farm, love this life, don't want change, don't want uncertainty, don't want to leave. But you trust Father, trust his judgment, trust that he's doing what's best even though it hurts, even though it's hard, even though none of you want this. The birthday cake comes out. Mother made it special, extra sugar, extra spices, candles that you blow out while making a wish. You wish for things to stay the same, for the farm to succeed, for change to stop, for time to freeze right here, right now, in this moment when life is still perfect, even though you know it won't last. But wishes don't work that way. Time doesn't stop. Change doesn't stop. Life moves forward whether you're ready or not, whether you want it or not, whether it's fair or not. The only choice is how you respond, how you adapt, how you survive. After cake, you go to the barn, check on Starlight. He nickers when he sees you. Soft, welcoming sound. You stroke his neck, his warmth, his presence, your anchor in changing circumstances. We're moving, you tell him. I don't know where yet, I don't know when, but we're leaving here, leaving Burke, starting over somewhere else. And you're coming with me, I promise. No matter what happens, no matter how hard things get, you're coming with me. Starlight doesn't understand the words, but he understands the tone, the emotion, the bond between you. He leans into your hand, trusting, accepting, present. That's what animals teach. How to be present, how to accept, how to trust, how to be in the moment instead of worrying about the future. You stand there, in the barn, on your 11th birthday, at the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. You don't know what comes next. Don't know about Minnesota. Don't know about Dakota Territory. Don't know about Laura. Don't know about the long winter. Don't know about Missouri. Don't know about any of it. You just know this moment, this barn, this Colt, this family, this life that's changing whether you want it to or not. And you know you'll survive it because you're a Wilder, because Wilders persist, because you chose farming, chose freedom, chose the hard path, and now you'll walk it, wherever it leads, whatever it costs, however long it takes. You return to the house. The family's in the parlour, fire burning, father reading, mother mending, Royal and Alice and Eliza Jane each doing their own things. Together, family. The thing that matters most. The thing that stays constant even when everything else changes. You sit, take out your new birthday knife, begin whittling. Small piece of wood, no plan, just cutting, shaping, creating. It's meditative, peaceful, helps you think, helps you process, helps you accept what you can't change. Hours pass, bedtime comes, you climb the stairs, your cold bedroom, your familiar bed. Maybe one of the last times you'll sleep here. Maybe this room won't be yours much longer. Maybe everything is ending. Maybe everything is beginning. Maybe both at the same time. You lie in darkness, thinking, remembering this year. The breakfast on your 9th birthday that started this story. The school days, the training, the harvest, the county fair, the ice cutting, the maple sugaring, Christmas, the choice in the wagon shed. All of it. 1 year, one full cycle, one complete journey from birthday to birthday, from boy to young man, and now the future, unknown, uncertain. Frightening, but also exciting. Minnesota, new land, new opportunities, new challenges, new stories, your story, the one that will define your life, the one that will make you the man you become, the one that matters most. You don't know it yet, but this is the beginning, the real beginning. Burke was childhood. Minnesota will be transition. Dakota Territory will be where you become a man, where you meet Laura, where you prove yourself, where you become the Almanzo Wilder that history will remember, the boy who rode into blizzards to save starving towns, the boy who courted Laura Ingalls for 3 years with patience learned from training oxen, the man who built Rocky Ridge Farm from rocks and determination, the man who lived to 92, the man whose childhood became a book, the man whose life mattered. But tonight, you're just 11, just lying in bed, just thinking about change, just hoping everything works out, just trusting Father knows what he's doing, just being a boy on his birthday, on his farm, in his life, in this moment that will someday become history. Outside, snow falls, soft, silent, covering Burke in white, making everything clean, new, ready. Tomorrow is February 14th, 1868, day after your birthday, first day of your 12th year, first day of the rest of your life. The farm sleeps, the animals rest, the family breathes, everything continues, everything changes, everything stays the same and becomes different simultaneously. That's life. That's growing up. That's the story. And somewhere in the future, decades away, a woman named Laura will write this down, will preserve it, will turn your childhood into something immortal, into literature, into lessons, into meaning. She'll write about the food and the work and the love and the values. She'll write about fried apples and onions and Morgan horses and county fairs and Christmas mornings. She'll write about the abundance and the prosperity and the joy. But she'll also write about this moment, this transition, this ending that's also a beginning, this change that's necessary but painful, this reality that farming isn't romance, that independence costs, that freedom requires sacrifice, that nothing lasts forever, that adaptation is survival. And readers will understand, will learn, will carry these lessons into their own lives, will remember that change is hard but necessary, that leaving home doesn't mean losing yourself, that family matters more than place, that values matter more than location, that who you are matters more than where you are. They'll remember Almanzo Wilder, the farmer boy who ate apples for every meal, who chose freedom over security, who survived hardship and built prosperity, who lived long and loved well, who mattered enough to remember, to preserve, to share. But tonight he's just sleeping, just dreaming, just being 11, just living a childhood that will someday become history, just eating apples, just training his Colt, just being exactly who he's supposed to be, in exactly the right place, at exactly the right time, and that's enough. That's everything. That's the story. The farm in Burke, New York, February 13th, 1868, where a boy became who he was meant to be, where values were forged, where lessons were learned, where history began, where America lived, where childhood mattered. This is where we leave him, on his birthday, on the edge of change, on the threshold of future, with family and food and love and values, with everything that matters, with nothing that doesn't. Perfect, complete, ready. The story continues, but this chapter ends, here, now, with a boy sleeping, a family together, a farm thriving even as it dies, a life beginning even as childhood ends, a moment preserved, a history remembered, a lesson taught. Choose freedom, work hard, value family, build something that lasts, eat well, love completely, persist through hardship, never quit, ever. That's the lesson of Farmer Boy. That's the gift of Almanzo Wilder. That's the story worth telling, worth preserving, worth remembering, and now you know it too.